The first one's kind of a tough question for you to maybe answer, which is why I wanted to just say that. But what percentage of VGC players do you believe used Gen Pokemon at Worlds?
Probably 95%.
95%. Thank you for the very honest answer.
Verlis, are you here?
Yes, I am here.
Perfect, perfectly. Guys, are you hearing Verlify correctly?
Yeah, we can take a minute to get the audio levels right and stuff. Also, like timing cadence, because since you're in Spain, it's going to actually have a bit of a delay, like a second, so
Okay.
we don't talk over each other.
Okay, my viewers say that they hear your voice perfectly, so it's I for my site it's correct.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm hearing you. Everything's good.
Perfect. Tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay, perfect. Well, firstly, thank you, Berlis, to accept the debate. Okay, as I don't know if you were in the streaming when I turn out, but we both know that there are people that didn't like. We both have a debate about this topic, but as I told you in private, I think this debate is something that has a seat for many years for the beginning of the competitive Pokemon, and also you are the probably the most popular face about anti-gaming. So thank you so much for accepting the debate. I think that we both want a adult and good debate. So let's enjoy it. Let's do good content for people and nothing more for my part.
Yeah, that's about it. And you can tell with the people that are saying like, "Oh, don't even talk to him." It's like, well, that's already just ruining the discussion for everyone at that point. So you actually being open, like, sure, I'll talk to him. That's a lot more like good faith than anyone else on Twitter almost.
No, so much. So if you don't mind, I'm gonna start the debate with a question. It's because I have think about what will be my first question to you, because there are so many about this topic, but there is something that I really want to know, and this why you consider gaining such an incredible crime that is something that is really important to you for you to defend that gaining is cheat, because we know other streamers, other Pokemon community members, people that don't like gaining. Okay, perfect. This is correct, but you have made yourself the main face, because the way that you defend your point of view really hard, as the point of calling all the players cheater, or say that all the competitive players are cheaters. So I would like to know why it's so important for you.
Cheating is wrong. Simple as that. Like that's the big point I make. I, I just disagree with cheating. Also, you might hear my dog in the background. She usually gets fired up when I'm talking to people on Discord.
I'm gonna ask you please to speak so more slowly, okay? Please,
Yeah, okay. That's just how I am, you know. Been making content, so I get really into it. But yeah, since English isn't your first language,
exactly.
but yeah, simply put, cheating is wrong, and
Okay.
that's the stance I have, especially in very high levels of play. Like this is competitive Pokemon. This is the same as the football league, baseball, chess, any kind of esport. Like it should have the same kind of respect and rules.
Okay, then I suppose that we will talk about it is again is cheat or not. This is something that we
Yes,
will talk
yeah,
about
let's
debate.
talk about that.
But consider that during a competition there are so many probably cheats, because as you know I have been playing Pokemon for many years, and I saw so many cheats that I really consider bad, like such as trying to disconnect opponent Switch or Nintendo DS, trying to assault other players, that I consider really bad. So why getting that is, if you consider getting that as a cheat, that is something that you consider, but many other people not. Why is getting that the main idea of cheat, where there are some kind of cheat that they are really that are worse than getting.
Because it's the most prevalent. And I don't think you can tackle the other forms of cheating until you deal with the biggest issue. Like we can if we can't just start banning or at least finding enforcement of the rules when it comes to something as clearly stated as genning, then there's other issues that are going to be like harder to deal with. Because I do know there's other ones like screen peeking hacks that people were
Eh,
using in online competitions and stuff.
But the problem here is if getting is considered cheating or not.
Uh,
Who considered getting cheating?
the Pokemon Company, you read the rules,
No,
it says you cannot use a
and that is a thing that I read again before the event start, and in the Play Pokemon Tournament Rules Handbook, doesn't say that getting is cheating.
yeah,
No,
it does.
no,
Let me read the rule.
no, no. I have now open, and I can
Yeah, same here.
I can read now right now. If we go to the part of cheating, okay, that is let me here page 49 of the tournament rule handbook, article 7.3.1.3, which is cheating. For BGC, there are only two kind of sample about cheating. That is, soliciting and acting upon private game information, such as contents of an opponent's hand, for an external source during a game progress. That is helping another guy during a game, and using a game console with custom firmware. This is the point of cheating in the rules handbook. There is nothing about gaining. If you say about gaining, in the rules handbook, there is something similar, but not about cheating. There is something similar about the penalties, and about the penalties. If you go to the part of team legality, I think is
Legality, yes.
Yes, let me team legality, exactly. If you go to several team errors, okay, there is one that say any indications via official tools that a Pokemon has been illegally manipulated, such as players battle team failing on electronic attempt check. Okay, but this is not saying that gaining is illegal. That say that if the official tool, that is the hat check, say that something is not correct, then could be a penalty. But it's not cheating. It's, you can say, infraction. It's an infraction, not cheat. For Pokemon. And
Th this seems to be a cultural kind of thing because you use the word infraction, but if you would go to rule 4.3, which is, higher well, it's like yeah, it's 4.3, which is page 13, we have the illegally manipulated Pokemon, so it's actually considering this as an illegal action inside of the game.
yeah, but the tournament handbook say about something that hack check say that is illegal, not about
Yeah,
manipulating. That is the handbook say about if the hack check say that it's correct, it's correct. It's not cheating. If the handbook say that you have something incorrect, it's not cheating, infraction.
4.3 overrides that because it's like, let me just read this.
Okay.
Illegally manipulated Pokemon. The use of external devices, such as a mobile app, to modify or create items or Pokemon is expressly forbidden. Like,
In which handbook?
that's the VGC handbook, page 13, 4.3.
Okay, there is something also. Okay, there is something also that I don't know if you know about the primary source of law, or something about laws and something like that. Okay,
Mhm.
that is the customary law. Okay, law is based in some kind of primary sources, and one of them is customary. Customary said that is if a law the interpretation of the law changed because some kind of social cultural develop of the society, of the way that the people I don't know how to say, they understand the rule, okay, and this rule is interpreted by another way that is right enough. The customers say that this law has the way that the people act is the correct way, not the law. So if Pokemon, the Pokemon staff, and also the players has understood during these years that a Pokemon that passed the hack check is correct, no matter what the law said. What matter is how the rule is interpreted by the people in the tournament.
Okay. It doesn't seem to have any wiggle room for interpretation when it says any modified or created Pokemon with external devices is deemed illegal to tournament, which is why we even saw at this Worlds players' Pokemon getting removed, even for being Gen-ed.
Exacto.
Now they didn't get disqualified, but they still had removed because that Pokemon is illegal. If they can detect the modification,
Mm. But
then that means that Pokemon is not allowed.
there were players which have Pokemon has been generated that passed the hack check.
Yeah,
What was the difference between between the people who has Pokemon removed from the team and the people that they didn't have?
that's just hacker cat and mouse that there's always going to be a new hack that the hack check is not going to be able to catch because it's reverse engineered. It is specifically made to bypass the rules.
So
Just
for Pokemon, the people who pass the new hack check has Pokemon that will be legals.
that no, it's still an illegal Pokemon by the 4.3 definition.
Yeah,
Just
but
because you just because like you piss in a cup and the test says you don't take steroids doesn't mean you're not taking steroids if you're still taking steroids. Do you
not for
understand?
not from BGC handbook, but from tournament rules handbook will be legal because tournament rules handbook base it on the hack check only in that.
No, they even have rule point 4.4 that says if a new hack is discovered, it should be reported to the Pokemon Company. Any Play Pokemon member who believes they discovered a new method of illegal team manipulation via any means should contact customer support. So that even like covers like, hey, if you know of something we don't know about, if you can detect hacked Pokemon we can't, tell us. Because that's what I mean. Like 4.3 just seems so unambiguous, overcompassing. Any modification, any creation or hacking of a Pokemon is not allowed. If you don't get caught, that doesn't make it cheating, or it
Mm,
doesn't make it not cheating.
what I understand about the rule is not saying that. It's saying that is the hack check who decide if something is not and it's not cheating. It's about the handbook is not cheat. Cheating is, as you say, screen picking, giving information about other players. It's not the same cheating that make an infraction. And also the same rules say that cheating is an automatic disqualification. I don't know. You are disqualified of the tournament. But in case of a Pokemon that Pokemon Discover that has been gent is not a disqualified. They remove your Pokemon. So it's not cheating. For Pokemon, it's not cheating because it's different the penalty for cheating than for something that for a Pokemon that is illegal. It's not the same.
But you can get disqualified for having too many illegal Pokemon.
No, but it's not because of that, because you can be disqualified if you, for example, this is something that's happened to me in Melbourne, that I have a Goldengo with in the team seat with Terra Water, but my Goldengo was Terra, sorry, in the team seat was Terra Steel, and at the team was Terra Waters. Also, I couldn't use this Goldengo until I changed the Terra. So if you have 3 Pokemon with team seat errors, they remove these 3 Pokemon and you are
Yes.
disqualified. It's not about that if you have Genet Pokemon, you are gonna be disqualified. No, it's different. If you have more than 3 Pokemon that is removed, and it does not matter if they are Genet or they are Team Seed heroes, you are gonna be disqualified. But not because you are doing you have done something really bad. It's because you can't play BGC with 3 Pokemons.
Correct.
So it's different the cheating from Gen or from having Pokemon that have been modified by an external tool is not the same because the penalties are not the same.
we still have it as, like, team errors. There's gonna be different levels to the team errors,
No, no,
but
it's the same. Are the rules are in the same spot.
yeah,
In the same spot. In the same
I
spot.
am as familiar with the rules as you are. We just have a different interpretation of the rules.
No, no,
What
it's
I'm gonna
but
say is, like, if you're using an illegal Pokemon, you are cheating. That is it.
for the rules are not. But there is another point, okay? Because you say that okay, using an external source. Do you think that Saudon is something is using Saudon is cheating?
It's not creating Pokemon that you use in your team.
Yeah,
It's
but
a sim
when you create a Pokemon, it's because you want to get an advantage because of the time. Okay, I suppose that we
yeah.
we, we both are alright with that, not?
Yeah, that's I think what we need to, like, try to hone in on a definition of cheating, because you can still cheat just from the global definition of cheating, like, the actual what the word means. So I think we need to first come up to, like, an understanding between each other of what we think the definition of cheating
Yeah,
is as a word. How about that?
for me, cheating is something that gives you advantage and can manipulate the result of a tournament.
Yeah. And I think, like, if my, like, literal interpretation of cheating is, you know, breaking the rules to gain an advantage.
Mm. So it's if you say that if you break the rules for something that didn't get you any kind of advantage, you think it is still cheating.
That seems to be the definition of
Okay.
cheating.
Imagine, for example, that for example, I can give you an example of a player that have Pokemon removed, and also you made a video about him, Brady Smith, that asked some Pokemon for a person that he thought that was something responsible, but this guy gained the Pokemon and changed to Brady. Do you think that playing with Pokemon that are gained, but you don't know because you ask other guy to cut them is cheat?
Yes, it's in the rules. 4.3. The next part is regardless whether those Pokemon belong to that player or were traded for.
Don't you think that is unfair?
No.
Why not?
If you can't if because then it creates doubt, or like it creates you could just say, "Oh, how was I supposed to know they were cheated even though you knowingly commissioned a cheated Pokemon?"
Did you play Verlis? Did you play on card with rental teams?
No.
Never.
I avoid rental teams 'cause I know most of them are hacked.
You sure that there are no hack?
I'm confident that a lot of them are hacked, which is why I don't touch them, even
But
even if it's like
but
hmm?
Brady Smith was also 100% secure, or I don't know the word that the the Pokemon the other guy chained to him are legals. So you can't be 100% that is not a hack Pokemon in this rental.
Well, I can be 100% if I
True.
know it's, like, my friend that I watched them get that Pokemon, like, on stream or in a Discord call or live, like, those are the only Pokemon I accept from other people, is if 100% there's evidence of that Pokemon being legitimately made.
And if I have to give you my opinion, I think it's impossible for you to say for all the rental that probably you have used during your
I've never
life,
used a
also in Sword and
single
Seal
I
and Scarlet and Violet, that you have seen other guy to cut all the to cut all the Pokemons and make the rental. I think it's almost impossible.
I I don't touch rental teams. I
Mm.
think I've only used, like, the officially distributed ones in Pokemon Sword and Shield. Where, like, when you go to the battle stadium and they have, like, the demo rental teams, I think those are the only ones I've used. So
Uh,
that's why and then all my other Pokemon, like, I'm streaming, and they've all been shown on stream except for, like, maybe 2 very simple ones off stream that aren't legendaries, that aren't, 0 IV shinies or whatever.
I would like to ask you another thing. What do you think? Why do you believe that competitive player can?
They're lazy.
You think that
They
they,
don't
they are that
respect
you think
rules.
they are lazy?
They also well, actually, I think there's multiple layers to it because it's the VGC community has kind of gotten like very complacent with cheating. So just like, oh, everyone's cheating, so genning is okay.
Mm.
But I think there was also a time before it became so accepted that it was to gain an advantage. That you know that if you just skip all the times, let's go back to like 2016 where
Mm.
we had the GS Cup rules for like Kyogre, Groudon, Primals, and stuff. Like you know you're getting an advantage because no legitimate player is able to soft reset 26,000 times to get a Kyogre as a part of the story that has perfect IVs. So you are knowingly getting an advantage over other players at that point.
Okay. When no, I don't know if you remember the tweet I wrote to you at the moment I say I have 3 times more money than you. That I have to say barely that probably yes. Sorry for that. But also that my team was breeded for me, and you say 2 likes in a tweet. Do you think I breed or I jam my team?
Well, didn't you admit to cheating for the 2022 or ginning for 2022?
Yes.
Yeah. So that makes it a lot harder for me to believe that you've gone clean now.
Okay, if you want, I can send you later my rental, and you can ask Cafotis to to analyze my rental. Okay, and I don't have any problem. As I
You can
told you,
send it to him as well. I think he'll see the tweet.
eh?
You can send it to him. I think he'll see the tweet or he has open DMs.
No, but I didn't. I didn't put my rental on public because there are another guys that created the team with me. We built the team together, so I didn't want to share the IVs, and this is the reason I
Okay.
didn't. Tell me.
Okay, I can send it to
Okay,
Capotics
but
then.
I will send you to private, and you can do whatever you want to say that I read my team. But this is no point. The point is, I'm gonna use my example. Okay, I like to breed. I like a lot to breed. And do you know why I love to breed my Pokemon?
Because it has like I do it because I like grinding. I've played RuneScape my entire life, so I can just like see that as a part of the totality of the game. Where it's like, yeah, I grind, and then the reward is battle.
It's not for that. It's because at the moment I started playing Pokemon in 2005, 2004, okay, we don't have this kind of tools. When I play my first Pokemon official tournament in 2009, the only tool we have was Pokésap, but that was far away worse than Pika Hex. So we have to breed if we want to participate. And I like it. I spent time when 16 years old Kasty, 18 years old Kasty, with nothing more than playing Pokemon because I didn't have responsibilities. Likes to breed because I like it. And now it's something I like because when you grow up and you become an adult and you see that you are not in your 20s, you are in your 30s, and you are going to your 40s, the thing that makes you happy is to remember the past, to remember when you are young. So now I like to breed only because it's remember when I was younger. This
Okay.
this summer I breed because I was during my holidays. My girlfriend was in the beach with her family, and I don't have anything more to do because I finished my team. I did all the damage calc, so I decided to breed the team. Okay, perfect. And it's something I like. It's something I like, and not because I think that breed is something fair, more fair than gain. It's not because I like it. Now, as I don't know if you know, but I'm 31 years old. I have a job. Okay, I wake up at 7 and I arrive at home and at 4. And I want to say I really I have I don't know how to say. I have a privilege that my work has a really good schedule, and I have to be at my home at 4 because so many people in Spain ends their job at 6, 7 in the evening. Okay, when I arrive home, I want to take a nap. I want to go outside and running. I want to, of course, playing Pokemon on Southern, trying to make another good team. And when I want at weekend, because I live 350 kilometers away from my family and from my girlfriend, I want to spend my weekend with my people. I can't breathe during the year, and it's not because I'm lazy. It's because I don't have time. because when you are an adult, when you have responsibilities, spend time trying to get terrazards is impossible. I spent 8 hours trying to get my Heatran. I spent 1 day and a half trying to get the terrazards. During the summer, after Worlds, I was in my village with my girlfriend, and when she was watching TikTok, I was defeating Blizzard in order to have Terrazard for another team, and I have enough Terrazard for 2, 3, 4 teams, no more. Now
Yeah.
I can't because I start working again, and of course, it's more important for me my job, my family, my girlfriend that Pokemon. If I have to decide in which I'm gonna spend my time, my 2 3 hours every day, that there are no more than 2 hours, I'm gonna prefer to spend in training instead of breathing. Because if I didn't have the choice to train, I'm not going to compete. And I like to compete. I like to travel abroad. I like to make results. But time didn't get me the chance to do both. And probably in a couple of years, and I'm gonna finish. I don't want to get all the time for me. In a couple of years, 3 years, I'm gonna be father, probably, because it's something that we both, my girlfriend and I, want. Do you think that I will have the chance to have a job, have a wife, have my friends, have a child, and also spend 2 hours every day to breed a team? Man, it's not about being lazy. It's about being an adult. When you are an adult, you don't have time to do something, to spend in something that is not going to give you any kind of advantage in a tournament.
That sounds like a very entitled argument you're trying to make.
What?
That just sounds really entitled because, like I said earlier, I consider Pokemon like if you're playing top competitive Pokemon, if you're competing in the world class or like for a world championship of any sport, game, discipline, esport, you need to sacrifice. Like that's where you lose the sleep, you lose your working with family. You have to overly dedicate every waking moment to that competition. I don't think Pokemon's any different just because it's a kid's game. Because like you see it with esports or like Olympians, they'll still have extra jobs while they're going to training, while they're working on their diet, while they have to like pick up another job to afford a coach or something. They're still practicing 40 hours a week while they're also at a 40-hour a week job. And I think that it's like you can make the Pokemon. Like you have to choose. Do you want your Pokemon to be better or do you want your training to be better? Because the rules state you cannot modify a Pokemon
Okay,
or you
but
cannot
sorry, finish. Sorry.
yeah, and well, you cannot gen, you cannot modify. Like I go off of rule 4.3. You can't have illegal Pokemon, so you have to make that sacrifice
Uh,
to have the correct Pokemon for competition so you don't disadvantage others and break the rules.
there is something that I think is incorrect about your statement. That you say that in Olympic Games and other e-sports, you have to make sacrifice because you have to not to break the rules. There is a difference, Berlis, on is my point of view. On an Olympic athlete, and I know because the current walk race champion Alvaro Martin Oriol is a friend of mine, so I know them. I know that point. Olympic athlete on Olympic or Olympic sport or a sport man, sport woman, their jobs is to compete in this sport. In other e-sports such as Valorant, such as League of Legends, it isn't a sport. I will be with you that probably if we can play, we can earn enough money to have a life with Pokemon, and our only job will be playing Pokemon, because now, okay, the price has rise, okay, perfect, but it's not enough. If we can live, we can have a life playing Pokemon, only playing Pokemon, probably I will more close to your point of view, because yes, it's your job, and when it's your job, you have to follow the rules, because you are because as you are in another job, there are rules, you have to follow it. Perfect. But there is no Pokemon player which job is to play Pokemon. And it is told about a guy that last year earned more than $40,000 because of the prices. And you know how much money I received for this $40,000? Less than around 25,000. And I was the runner up, the second best player in the world. And I earn less than a half of I earn in my job. So, okay, perfect. But you can't compare playing Pokemon with another e-sport on with an athlete or a sportman, because it's their job and it's something different. A hobby that a job.
I disagree. Like, just because Pokemon doesn't pay enough to make a living doesn't mean you're allowed to break the rules.
But
Just because it isn't a job. Hmm.
as I told you, are the rules fair?
Yes, very fair.
So if Pokemon in the next DLC makes a build, introduce a build there that you can make the Pokemon as a Pokehex, but inside the game, you could consider that people are cheating.
Well, I mean, then no rules are being broken, but that's not the reality we've lived into up until this
So
point, or
it's
up
not.
until that
So
point.
for you, it's not about uh, what is the result of doing something or not. It's about the rules. Okay. There is an example about the rules is unfair, and I don't know if you know, but I'm the main guy against Pokemon rules, because I think that they don't think about their players. They only think about them, and it's something they have to change. Pokemon players are not tools for make money. We spend so many time, so many money trying to compete in this game. So there have to change so many things. We both have born in a country, in a wealthy countries, and we can afford something like a Nintendo Switch, so many games for this world. If you want to breed, you have to uh, uh, sorry, to buy a Nintendo Switch and to buy 3 different games: Sword or Shield, Legend Arceus, and Scarlet or Violet, because there are Pokemon in each game that you can use. Think about a guy who has born. Probably I have friends from them, Argentina, any country of Latam, that they don't have enough. It's really hard for them to afford a Nintendo Switch. We don't say about 3 games, and also pay the trip and go outside to another country to compete. Imagine that this guy, one guy, want to start to compete in Pokemon. One guy from Argentina. He has a Nintendo Switch buy from his parents. Perfect. Woo, so happy. I'm gonna go to Sao Paulo International Tournament. Don't you think that again it's something that could help people to compete in the same level? Because this guy probably can't afford to pay 3 games. But
I understand what you're trying to say.
if he didn't pay for the games, he can't get some Pokemon that are really important for the competition.
Yeah, yes, I do understand, but those extra games, Legends Arceus, Sword and Shield, Brilliant Diamond Shine Pearl, those aren't required. The only requirement is a Switch and the game that the tournament is being hosted on. The only reason you can't trade other people from those other games or trust them is because the cheating problem is so
But
bad.
there is something that you have said, that if you change the Pokemon to another guy, and this guy change you a Pokemon that is illegal, you are cheating. So you are saying that you have to have the 3 games, and if you are poor
Well, you
and you
don't
don't have
have
enough
to.
money, you have to ask another guy to change the Pokemon. But you are also saying that if this guy change you a Pokemon that is illegal, you are a cheater. So you have to decide being poor and not compete, or as another guy and being poor and being a cheater. Man,
Well,
that's not correct. That's not fair.
Well, that's how every sport and competition works. There's legal advantages, and I think that's what the Pokemon community or VGC community has a hard time understanding, is that if you have more money for a better trainer and a better diet, and also, like, coaching and stuff, you're going to perform better in sports. That's going to give you a better chance of getting drafted or having any kind of competitive or professional prospects. Same thing with esports. You need thousands of dollars for a computer, the better monitor you have for higher like FPS refresh rates, better mouse and keyboard, all those things give you advantages, and it's going to be like a money gate for those players. Pokemon's very accessible by comparison. It really just comes down to the time investment of following the rules.
But I think that it's not the same to pay for a coaching and trying to develop your skill and trying to get a better result for in a tournament. Trying to get to do a top cut that only have the the right to compete as the same circumstance that other guys. It's not the same. This guy that is new and want to play in Sao Paulo don't want to make a top cut. He only wants that, okay, I like this thing I have seen in this streamer and I would like to have it. Okay, Arcane History. I don't have Legend Arceus, man. I'm fuck. So it's not the same. Of course, if you have more money, you have more chance to be good in this game or be good in something in general. Of course, this is like this is as real life works. Of course, we know, but we are not talking about that. We are talking about have the right to play in the same circumstance that others, and we have to admit that players from all the globe didn't have the same. I don't know how to say the same possibility if we talk about money.
Well,
Gaining is something. Sorry, gaining something that allow people to have access to all the Pokemon to play.
okay, my stance is if you can't follow the rules, you have no right to any competition.
But as I told you, the tournament handbook say that it's illegal. All the hack checks say that it's illegal. If the hack checks say that it's okay, you can participate.
But then they do the manual hack check and they can still find problems with Pokemon.
Yes, if you and if what happened, for example, in Worlds, if you did ground the Pokemon and pick a hex and you have disqualified because of that, okay, the rules say that perfect, but say the rule is interpreted the hack, the cheat or not the cheat, the infraction because of the hack check, not because of where the Pokemon has been made.
4.3 still classifies any genned Pokemon,
Yeah,
even if it passes hack check, as illegal. That's what I mean, like, you're
and
using an illegal Pokemon.
you are saying that the 4.3, and you're right, but I also tell you the I don't know, wait, here the 7.3. So there are some two rules that are not opposite, but one says something different from the other. BG rule set say, okay, all the Pokemon that has been made outside from another is illegal. Perfect. But the tournament said that if the hack check say that the Pokemon is correct, there is no problem.
There isn't no problem because of 4.3. See, this is a problem with like the debate structure if we get caught in a circular thing. So that I think this is just an impasse. Like that's a disagreement that you're kind of on whatever side, and I don't think anyone even watching is going to change or flip off of that. But what I want to reiterate is that if I take steroids and I piss clean, I am still a cheater. I am still cheating that event. I'm still breaking the rules. Not getting caught doesn't mean I'm not breaking the rules. That Pokemon is illegal, and that's why I say like, okay, on the overall, if you cannot follow the rules, you have no right to competition. Can you still cheat and try to press your luck and get through? Yeah, anyone can, but I'm still going to consider that person cheating. I'm still going to consider it rule breaking.
Okay, I would like to ask you one thing. Okay, Verlis.
Okay.
Well, about that only one point. If your arguments say that it's because of the rules, okay, probably you don't have to put the pressure of the players. Probably you have to put the pressure to Pokemon, okay? Because thank you, Pokemon, for the rate. Because what are you saying that is only about the rule? If Pokemon put a builder inside the game, that is all correct. So what I think is that you have to if you have to disagree with someone, are not the players. The players trying to get advantage inside what they can do, but probably Pokemon is the problem in this case, because they have a competitive game in which having the Pokemon from breed or having the Pokemon for gen is the same for the result of the tournament, and it's something that you have said that is not about the result, because having gaining Pokemon or having breeded Pokemon is the same for the competition. It's about breaking the rules. Okay, probably this problem is about Pokemon not giving the players the tool not to break the rules. If Pokemon may put a builder inside the game, there is no rule that is gonna be broken, and the Pokemon player don't have to spend hours breeding a team or something that is useless for the competition.
Hmm. I disagree with it being on Pokemon because it's the competitor's autonomous decision to break the rules. No one's forcing anyone to play competitive Pokemon. It's all opt in. And in that opting in, you are also opting into following the rules, which means the immense time requirement and work put into getting legal Pokemon. That is the barrier. Every sport, esport competition has different barriers. Pokemon's is very unique. I will admit that there's nothing really else to compare it to, but as I keep saying, like, this is competitive. This is the highest standard of play. You need to follow the rules at the very beginning, and everything else is a hypocritical. Yes, or not hypocritical, hypothetical. That if they did make a simulator, well, then no rules are being broken. But we don't live in that world, no matter even though it's been begged by the community for over a decade now. So the reality is, players are breaking the rules. They're using illegal Pokemon. Cheating is wrong. That is like my absolute stance.
Okay, I will make you another question. Okay,
Okay.
do you use Pokemon Showdown?
Showdown?
Yeah.
I use it to team build. Used to use it for battles, but I don't like the battles on it.
But you make videos using Showdown, because I saw that so this Pokemon is really good, and you make the builder at Showdown.
Yes. I
Uh,
I, I put the team in like I put it on Showdown, but I don't export it. I just have it for
okay.
the team view.
You know, I don't know if you know that for Pokemon, okay, if you are this is something I know because another content creators, okay, for Pokemon it's also because you said about the rules. The rule is important. If you break the rules, you're a cheater. Okay, there is some rules from Pokemon that if you are a content creator and you use something that is not that is intellectual property of Pokemon, but it's not official Pokemon, an official Pokemon game. You are breaking the rules. For example, I have one friend called Cabron that is a Pokemon Go content creator that participate in a Pixelmon Pokemon mod in Minecraft called Pixelmon. Okay, and he has some kind of and he has an agreement with Pokemon because it's as one of the Spanish Pokemon content creator for Pokemon. Okay, so at the moment he participated in this series, in this Minecraft series. Pokemon said that he was breaking the rule because it's something that he can't do to upload content for something that is not Pokemon official game. So at the moment that you are using Pokemon Showdown and you are making video using Pokemon Showdown, for Pokemon, you are a cheater because you are
That's
using
not
the
correct at all.
yes. You are. For Pokemon, you are a cheater because you are using a Pokemon intellectual property in an illegal device or an illegal program, an illegal tool, and you are making content creator about that. For Pokemon,
Where
you are a cheater. The only way that you can be a cheater for Pokemon is to use your Nintendo Switch, and your Nintendo game, the Pokemon game, is the only way. If you use Pokemon Showdown, something related with Pokemon that is not Pokemon, a Pokemon game, something like that, and you use content and you make content about that for Pokemon, you are a cheater, and you can't
okay,
participate
show
with
me
Pokemon.
Show me the play Pokemon rule. Which
No, no, it's not
which
play. No, it's not
No,
play.
no, exactly. If I'm not violating play Pokemon,
No, no,
then
it's
how
not
am
play.
I
But it's not play
then how am I
Pokemon
a
because
cheater?
it's not play Pokemon. It's the policy of Pokemon to not participate to not collaborate with nothing with
Which
a content creator that make content with something that is not a Pokemon official. I don't know how to say or game or whatever you want. It's something illegal for them. It's cheat for them. For Pokemon, it's
can I
not play
have some
Pokemon. It's Pokemon
clarification?
policy.
Did your friend work for Pokemon
Yes,
to
yes, yes,
make
it
that
is.
content?
Yes, yes, it
I'm
is.
not I'm not an affiliated content creator. I don't work for Pokemon. I'm
No,
not
of course, of course,
contracted.
of course,
He's
of course,
he's he's
of course not.
violating the content creator contract, not cheating in play Pokemon by using an alternative thing. That means anyone that's looked at Cerebi
But
is a cheater because it's
yes, yes,
a hosted news site.
of course,
That that
of course, it is.
that is the most absurd extrapolation of the rules
No,
where
no,
no
no,
rules
no.
are being violated. Like, please, you need to point to a rule. You need to say 7.3 says no intellectual property other than your console.
For your it's an of course it's an absurd interpretation, but it's your point of view of the interpretation. The rules say. Of course, you are not
Yes, I
working
can
with
point to the rule. I
you
can
are
point
not
to rule.
you are not working for with Pokemon because you are breaking the rule about the Pokemon policy with content creator. You are breaking this rule.
Cybertron is hired by the Pokemon company. He uses Pokemon Showdown.
I
Pokemon
don't know,
Showdown is
and I know that Wolfey too, but I suppose that Cybertron and Wolfey are the two ones that can avoid
either
this
way.
kind of policy. I don't know
I can point to 4.3 and say this is where that is illegal and that's deemed cheating explicitly. That is stated to be against the rules. Where is a statement that using Showdown or Cerebi or Bulbapedia is against any rules of competitive play Pokemon?
because at the
Show me that rule, and
because
you can say that. Until then, you're just making stuff up.
because at the same the way that you are against a player that break the rules and gain the Pokemon, you can say anything to another guy that now come and say, "Oh, Berlis is using Pokemon Showdown, which is something not official. He
There's no
is
rule.
cheating
There's no
because you
rule
are
against
breaking the
Showdown.
policy, the Pokemon policy.
Please, again, give me the rule that forbids me from participating
It's not
competitive.
a rule. It's the Pokemon
If
policy
it's
about content creators.
I'm not a licensed I'm not hired by Pokemon. I'm not contractually obligated to only do first party with Pokemon.
Of course not, because you're using Showdown. It's the same with me. I can because I'm playing
I
that
can because
rules.
I'm not with Pokemon. Like you're comparing two different things. You're comparing a content creator contract with the play Pokemon rulebook. I
But
can point to the rules. I can point to 4.3 and say that is cheating. You cannot argue against Gen Pokemon being illegal.
but is Showdown
You
is
can't
legal?
give me a rule. You can't give me a rule that says Showdown now
Man, because
disqualifies me from competition.
I don't work with Pokemon. I know the policy. I can give you the policy. If
It's
I
not in
work
play
with Pokemon, I
Pokemon.
will give you the policy. Don't worry.
There's no secret play Pokemon rules. I can see the terms of use, I can see a tournament rules handbook, and I can see VGC, Go, and TCG. I
Be-
can find what I'm allowed to do and what I'm not allowed to do publicly for all those cases except for not being able to use Showdown. That rule does not exist. There
because
is
it's
no
not a rule. It's a
forbiddance.
policy. It's different.
Then it would be in policies. It would be like you cannot participate if you
If
use
I told you
Pokemon Showdown.
if I told you if I would tournament rules are public because people participate in tournament rules, but content creators don't participate with Pokemon.
Exactly because
It's
they're
a
not
private policy.
exactly, that's something completely different. That does not disqualify you from play Pokemon to violate content creation policy.
But it's a rule. This is
How
it's a rule. And it's not
it's a
also a
rule for
rule.
content creators that
It's
are
not
not participating in play Pokemon,
it's not
yes.
also a rule. Pokemon Pseudo is an unofficial use of Pokemon intellectual property.
And violating intellectual property does not disqualify you from play Pokemon
No,
as
of
per
course
the
not.
play Pokemon
Of
rules.
course not. But you are
Then there's no cheating. Then
but
there's no rule
no, no, it's
breaking.
not. Of course, it's not cheating. But you are breaking that rule.
If I was, then all my content would be struck.
What?
I would have YouTube takedowns. Anyone that's ever used Pokemon Showdown would have copyright takedowns for the IP violation.
There, not Soudon. Is the The example of
Cerebi
Southern,
wouldn't. These websites would not exist.
no, the example of Southern is the example of the Pokemon game. It's the same. At the moment the Pokemon realize that they can't fight against not only Southern. Before Southern was Pokemon Online, Sodi Battle, Net Battle. Okay,
Yeah, yes.
at the moment that Pokemon realize that they can't battle against this kind of simulator, they said, okay, while they didn't do something illegal using Pokemon intellectual property, we are going to close our eyes. It's the same with Gen Pokemon. While the Gen Pokemon didn't fail the hack check and means to be all okay, we are going to close the eyes. It's the same. It's not that Pokemon that is correct. It's that Pokemon prefer to close their eyes to this kind of option.
Okay, but you accuse me of cheating for using Pokemon Showdown, even though no competitive rules are broken.
Wait.
You said you are a cheater.
Not in this world.
But you called me a cheater, just like in your previous
For
argument
your
by saying
problem,
I used.
for your point of view, yes. From my point of view, no.
Not
Why?
even from my point of view, because it's
I didn't receive a penalty about my Pokemon in any tournament.
again, I'm still cheating if I take steroids and I don't get caught.
One of my viewers sent me the term of use of Pokemon, and I think that he is saying something about intellectual property, service content, and user submissions. And here said not to use Pokemon property to your own benefits.
Except there's also the
So
Nintendo
don't you
content
use
creation
Pokemon Southern
guidelines.
to your own benefit?
Can I get which rule that is? Like 7, 1, 2,
No,
3,
it's not.
8.
It's
I
not.
have the. I know. I am very familiar with the Pokemon terms of use as well. It's actually listed. There's 5, 1, 2, 3.
The
There's
three.
4. There. Like, okay, which one is that violating? So we can go over that interpretation.
I'm reading right. I'm reading now.
Because yeah, the terms of use is pretty thick.
All communication solicited feedback. No, it's not. It's not. It's not that. Unless otherwise note, all content of the service, including articles, network, screenshot, graphic, logo, downloads, and other file, is the property of Pokemon and is protected by United States and international copyright, trademarks, and other intellectual property laws. Trademark and copyright for third-party games and characters are owned by companies which make it or list these products. Because we receive thousands of such requests, our policy is to decline use to trademark and copyrights. So, Pokemon Southern is using in an illegal in not don't know how to say no consent. No, I don't know it's consent. Wait.
It also
Yes,
says.
spoiled consent. Yes, in a consent way, the use of Pokemon intellectual property, non consensual. Thank you so much. Non consensual intellectual property. What as I told you, Pokemon prefer to close their eyes, as they prefer to close their eyes to the Gen Pokemon, because they know
It's
that
not closing their eyes at
they can
this.
fight against that.
Well, yeah, that's why the next thing you missed was subject to applicable law. And okay, subject to any limitations under applicable law, you acknowledge and accept you have no property or other rights in any content on the service, including but not limited to the images and the stuff of Pokemon. I don't have the rights to Pokemon, but I'm allowed to make content of Pokemon. It's still under 3 intellectual property. That's also why we get into like the mess of the Nintendo content creator program, if you're aware of that.
I would like to read later.
Yeah.
Don't know. Don't know how to answer that now about that. You say that you have a question for me too.
Yeah, let me just like wrap this up really quick because did you hear about the drama years ago with the Nintendo YouTube creator program?
No, not at all.
Okay, so what happened was, like, Nintendo was just copyright striking, like, Mario Party playthroughs and any kind of content that had, like, Nintendo games in it, and then they made a partner program where you could sign up, but you would have to submit your video, like, 3 days in advance. They would review it, they would take a 40% revenue share. They effectively become, like, your YouTube channel manager just to make Nintendo content. That had really bad backlash, so they just made it a global policy. They're like, "Hey, if you're following fair use and you're not, like, abusing our IP or doing anything, like, we disagree with, you're free to use that content." That's just because that's how fair use law operates.
But
So it's kinda
it's not happening with Pokemon.
Pokemon had never stricken any videos. It was really weird because with Nintendo, like, all the Nintendo videos were getting taken down, but Poketubers, they were safe. Like, any Let's Play of Pokemon untouched, no copyright claims, because, like, they have a different content policy outside of that. It
Don't know if it is about different content policy, or if about, as I told you, that Pokemon prefer not to see that, because I know about, and this is something I know about the inside of Nintendo. Pokemon has the same, and this is something that I can't tell here, but there was something related with Pokemon property in the Spanish community, in the Spanish community, with has problem, not having, they didn't have problems because Pokemon prefer not to say nothing, but they didn't like, and they was so close to take action about it. So the policy is the same, but I think, or people told me, people that work close to Pokemon, close to Nintendo, Pokemon prefer not to open fight against this kind of content. But the policy is the same.
But then it would be really easy to enforce to be like, "Hey, if you've ever made a Pokemon video, like, you just can't play the at VGC."
I
Because,
think
like, this is just standard intellectual property stuff where I don't have a right to put Pikachu on merchandise or use Pikachu in a non-fair use format. Like, this just gets into intellectual property law outside of play Pokemon. And we've also seen to where, like, Poketubers have gotten hired, like Shady Penguin and Justin Flynn.
mm,
Like, yeah, there's their own lore behind that for sure, but when it comes to things like Nintendo or any copyright games, like, this is outside of play Pokemon. This is outside of rule breaking for the competitive VGC,
no,
where
but
I could again,
it,
but I just point to 4.3, and that's like, that's the rules violation. That's the easy thing to be against. We need to get through that square before we can start getting into intellectual property violations of how that could maybe even have a case for rule breaking in Pokemon. Okay, that was just kind of like that.
but the problem is what I told you before. Uh, that As I told you, the rules, the BG rules say something, but the tournament rules say another thing, not different, but complementary, and they put the pressure in the hack check, not in the Pokemon. The hack check. If the Pokemon pass the hack check, the Pokemon is legal. But it's something that we talked before. But
Yes,
it's again the same point. Okay, rules say something. Okay, perfect. The problem is that is what I told you. Is the rule fair or not fair? Because you can't put the pressure in the players for something that could be unfair.
I think you can because again, as I yeah, now we're starting to get into circular things. So I guess we can maybe just like
Okay,
summarize our points quick. Is that everything you want to say to summarize your point so we don't get
there
caught
is
up in a loop again?
there
Okay.
is a rule. There is a rule that I call the smoke rule, that say that and is the rule that the Pokemon staff used to disqualify the guy who didn't know about the pronouns. Is the rule that Pokemon used to disqualify the four Korean the Korean top four. And is the rule is the rule they used to give me a game loss at Worlds. Is a rule that say everything that Pokemon consider offensive could be could be punished. It's something like that. It's
Yes.
a rule I really consider unfair, because you are giving it's like you are giving a gun to the monkey. not
Yeah.
it's depend of the youth. If the youth consider that, for example, I go to a tournament with a Getafe t-shirt, and the youth hates Getafe, and consider that I'm making fun of him, and he can disqualify me. Is of course
Yes.
this is so absurd, but the rules say that something that the youth consider offensive for the staff could be punished, and I
That
can
is
make a
true.
disqualify. Is this rule fair or not fair?
Well, that rule exists for every form of competition. It's known as the God rule. It's where, at the discretion of the tournament organizers, they have pretty much total power to remove you from an event or give you an arbitrary punishment. You are abiding by the competition, which means you are abiding by the rules of the competition, even the vague ones. Now, there can be protests and arguments if a rule is done fairly. Like, there's always bad judging decisions, bad referee calls, and stuff, and that's just a part of the game.
But of course,
So,
of course, we can protest about the rules because rules are not
yes,
perfect. The system of a rule don't doesn't mean that this is absolute. The rule is something that goes gonna change. Of course, law always change because societies
yes,
change. Societies change it. What worked 5 years ago doesn't work now. The rule about gaining in, probably 5 years ago or 10 years ago was fairly because there were more there were more time or something like that, but the competition was less professional than now, and people don't didn't have to fly to travel abroad one time per month. So the rules that works from Pokemon 10 years ago doesn't mean that it works now. And what players have to do is trying to adapt this rule to the new era, something fair for the players. So of course, using, and I think that this difference between the BDC handbook and the tournament handbook about saying that the hack check is what consider if a Pokemon is legal or not legal is a way that Pokemon say, okay, don't use. I'm not going to tell you to use a program, but please be careful. Not use something that was clearly illegal. And the other way to fight against this, not to fight, but trying to force Pokemon and not Pokemon, every single statement in the society to make the rules more fair is to protest against that. To sit down and say, okay, are the rules? If the rules say that, are the rules? No, man. I don't read the words in this situation. I think that the words can improve, that the words can develop, the society can develop, and the rules have to develop too. And this, if you are taking time away from players, guys that have studies, that have jobs, that have time to spare with their friends, with their partners, with their families, you can't think that your e-sport, your video game is gonna be a real e-sport if they have to spend more time breeding a team that making calls, trying to develop their skills, because this is not a competition about breeding. It's a competition about who is better. And I told you, if we talk about, okay, this is your job, you have to play Pokemon. It's your way to get money. Okay, perfect. We can talk about that. You have to be more focused, and you have not to break. Not to. Not, I don't want to say break the law. You have to make to use all the tools that Pokemon tell you, because it's your job, but it's not our job. It's our hobby.
okay. You good? We like that went on for a bit, so like trying to keep this on track. Is that okay?
What?
Like I said, like that's everything. We're good on your stance. Not
Uh,
trying to be disrespectful, just trying to like keep this moving.
that you say that we are now in that I don't know how to say it. We are
I'm just
in a
saying you took
movable position.
yeah, you took a lot of time there, and I just want to make sure we're wrapped up. We're good right there.
Okay.
Okay. I just want to say that like I think 4.3 is a rule that is very clear and should not have any like room for ambiguity. It just says like external devices modifier creation of Pokemon is expressly forbidden. That should be as clear cut as it gets for the rules and understanding like that is cheating. You said that. Let me try to remember what you said about that. Oh yeah, protest. I do not consider cheating a valid form of protest. Like you can not participate and complain until there's change. Like that's what you need to do. Instead of cheating, remove yourself from the tournament, have the attendance go so low that the Pokemon Company is forced to accommodate. That's I can understand that. I don't have any problems with anyone that's complaining about not being allowed to gen. I have problems with people that gen breaking the rules inside of the tournament. And going back to my statement that I keep saying, which is like if I'm taking steroids and I pass the steroids, I'm still cheating. We saw with this year's Worlds that they did a different kind of hack check. They are looking for Pokemon that have possible stats, possible things, but if it was missing the home flag, then that's a sign of cheating, and that was kind of like the big one. So that goes into Rule 4.4, where if there's a new hack discovered, if they find another way of detecting Pokemon, that Pokemon is removable. That is disqualification worthy because any gen Pokemon is illegal, whether it's caught, like whether it's detected or not.
No, but
That's that.
it's not disqualified. It's not that. It's removed. It's not the same.
Well, that Pokemon is disqualified.
The Pokemon is removed. You are
Yes,
disqualified if
like
you are disqualified if you have less than than 4 Pokemon.
yes, but you were using an illegal Pokemon. That Pokemon should not have been allowed for tournament. Is kind of the idea behind the illegal Pokemon. And there is like leeway with the Pokemon Company that I disagree with because like you disagree with the rules. I disagree that like if you can have two or more Pokemon or two Pokemon removed before getting disqualified, like you know the numbers behind it. I feel like if you have one hacked Pokemon found, you should be disqualified from the tournament. That's not how the rules are, but that is my belief because that is how strict my stance is on cheating.
So if one day we change the rule, or we change the way that we can create our Pokemon, so will be well. Firstly, I suppose that you're gonna lose your content about that,
I've got nothing to
or at
complain
least
about.
or at least a half of your content. But I think you
Well,
say
then I
that
have no argument.
just say that gaining is not the way to protest against this rule. I don't consider that because if you remove the way that players get the Pokemon without spend so many times, okay, if you remove that, if we don't have Pika Hex, probably we are not doing now. We weren't 800 players in a tournament that we are now. Probably we were less than 200. Probably
Okay, good. If the
okay.
scene needs to be inflated by cheating, you do not deserve
Yeah,
to have a scene.
the problem is the only way to make pressure is to be so many voices claiming for the same for the same goal. If we were less, we don't have any chance to do that. Gaining is not a way to protect. Gaining is a way to get more numbers, to get more people who claim about a change of the rule.
Yeah,
Is the
okay.
only way to give the players the chance to participate in tournament at the same status that others, and to be
And this is where we're locked because then my response is I believe that Pokemon is no different from other forms of competition that also demand sacrifice. So I think we can move on because
okay.
I think we're not making any progress here.
Okay.
Do you agree? Yeah.
Well, before you leave, I have to say thank you to.
Oh, I'm not leaving. I'm just saying like this part.
Oh,
This
okay, okay,
this
okay,
part
okay,
of the
okay.
discussion.
I sorry, my bad,
Yeah,
my bad,
let us move on deeper into the
my
discussion
bad, and
if
my
we
bad
have.
English. Sorry for that.
That's
Okay.
fair. That's fine. I will
Okay.
say when you get impassioned, your English is strong. It's fine.
Oh, thank you so much for that.
You've been going on these fast, strong rants about how you feel about the entire thing, get your point across, and it's legible, it's understandable.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah.
I will say my mother that is really worried about my English. Okay, I'm gonna ask you another thing about Worlds. Okay, what happened at Worlds? Uh, I'm gonna give you my point of view, and then I'm gonna listen what is yours. Uh, I think that if Pokemon want to make a change of how the hack check works, okay, I think that is worse were the time, because as I told you, people spend so many time, so many money to travel abroad to prepare wars. It's wars is the award for all year season. So I think that because I saw many of your video that you were, I don't know if happy or that yeah, come on, fuck you cheaters, you lose war because of you are cheaters.
Oh,
Uh,
I
but
was I was ecstatic. I was over the moon. I am so happy that cheaters are out thousands and thousands of dollars.
man, you have
Bad man? Did you
just
say bad man?
okay, eh?
Did you say bad man?
Man, I say, oh man.
Oh, oh
Uh,
man.
what? Okay, I'm gonna say something. You say that was a lie that I have 3 times more money than you in the bank account. You say that that is this a lie. Okay, if this is true and and you don't have 3 times less money than me, that means that you have so many money. Okay, uh, I think that saying that what you are saying that oh God, yes, they spend so thousand of euros of dollars to go to Japan, and they were disqualified. In your position, in your wealth, in your economic position, it's so bad, man. It's so bad because we both have a job, have a good paid job, we have money, okay, perfect. If I lose 2,000 euros to go to Japan, I were disqualifying for have illegal Pokemon. Okay, man, 2,000 euros is bad, but it's not the end for me. What about the people that spend all the money they have, that ask another guys to donate money for them to play Pokemon? That there are people from 16 to 22 years old. That people that they don't have money, that have to I don't know, to sell the thing they have in their house to travel abroad and play Pokemon. Okay,
Shouldn't have
it's
cheated.
no, but man, but it's I think okay, perfect. Is your belief that cheat is that the game is cheat, that is wrong? Okay, perfect. But I think it's there are something that is more important that Pokemon, if people game Pokemons or not, and it's about to be a person. And for my point of view, you can't be happy to see people that don't have money or don't have, or that spend all the thing they have, or that have to or have to ask another guys to borrow money, being disqualified, and see how all the work or they done during all the years throw to the rabbits because Pokemon decided to change to change the hack check at worst.
They didn't change the hat check. Well, they technically changed the hat check.
They did.
Yeah, they looked for new parameters, sure, but you've never been allowed illegal Pokemon.
Of course, but you can be happy. You can't be happy, man,
Oh, I
because
can.
it's trying it's trying to empathize with other guys. It's trying to say, oh man, if I were
Why should I have empathy for a cheater? They're the ones that have no empathy for others following the rules. They are
because
deliberately disadvantaging others.
because they did, and they not cheat. They break the rule in a video game. They didn't kill anything and anyone. They
There's
didn't
tens of thousands of dollars on the line.
they didn't steal. They didn't hit another guy. They only break a rule in a video game,
No,
and
they're
they spend
stealing.
all the money they have, and they were outside for a video, breaking a video game and
If
changing the hack check at worst.
if you're breaking the rules to gain an advantage in a cash tournament or a tournament that has cash prize, you are stealing that prize money.
Don't consider
You are dishonestly, unfairly earning it through rule breaking means.
it's not the same. Stealing that don't earn a money that you could earn. It's not the same.
They have no right to that money through the rule breaking.
If I, for example, if I win a tournament, that this is something curious. I didn't. All the tournaments I win during my life was with breeded Pokemon for me. curious. But imagine that one of the tournament I won, I use
You took a
get
cash prize in Worlds last year where you admitted to cheating. Or not cheat well, you admitted ginning at least.
what?
Worlds 2022 was ginning, right? You ginned a team.
Yes, but I didn't win anything. Oh, well, I won
You
up, but I
you
didn't
you
win the
got
tournament.
second
Yes,
place. You won cash.
yes, I did. What about the rest? Okay, perfect. I wanna ask you one thing.
Okay.
Probably I the first player at Worlds that didn't get the team. You think that they stole me the world championship?
You say if they didn't gin, that means they didn't steal?
Yeah, yeah,
Or
but I want. For me, they didn't steal me anything. But for you,
well, because
I'm the
you have to
current I'm
consider
the current
the
world champion for you.
because you have to consider, like, all the legitimate players that were disadvantaged through that cheating.
But you say that probably they cheat.
Yeah, but there's still going to be some amount of
Okay,
legitimate
imagine
players. I've
imagine
entered
imagine that the 26 players that were above me, that passed the hack check, get their Pokemon from Gen or from something that illegal for you. I'm the current world champion.
okay.
Do you think they stole me the money?
They stole the money through the entirety of the competition.
No,
Like,
but
just
I
because
was but
you don't feel disadvantaged, you don't care that they cheated, doesn't mean they broke the rules to obtain money. They at some point, someone was disadvantaged that was not breaking rules. It's an if the competition becomes unfair and you are breaking and violating the rules of competition, you are stealing the prize money.
but
I
as I told you, the tournament handbooks say the hack check. Is the hack check what determine if you break the rules or not?
and if you're using illegal Pokemon, you are breaking the rules regardless. It's if you get punished through detection. But you can still be cheating and not be caught. You are
But
still breaking the rules and not getting caught.
I thought, okay, but answer my question. If the 26 player above me gain the team or make something or get one of their Pokemon by an illegal tool, I'm the current world champion. They stole me the money.
Maybe not from you specifically, but they stole
Why
from
not?
the tournament or
I
from the
was the first
participants
one
of the tournament.
that didn't get the team.
So what you're saying is like all 26 should be disqualified and then you automatically become first?
No, it was I want to ask you is do you think that it's what will happen that all of them had to be then we know that the world champion his Among Us was
Yes.
one of the EVs was changed by Hex. Has he to be disqualified?
Well, by the rules, it wasn't enough for him to be disqualified, even though his Pokemon was illegal. The problem is we don't know if the rest of his team was illegal through detection.
But he used this Among Us during all the tournament.
Yes. So, I mean, like, should it have been removed? Sure. Was it? Again, like, okay, that means he is cheating. He's a player that should have been disqualified, that should not have won the money through violating the rules.
But he didn't.
Again, just because you aren't detected doesn't mean you aren't
But
breaking the rules.
for Pokemon, is not breaking the rule.
Illegally manipulated Pokemon rule is being broken.
But he passed the hat check.
You're still breaking the rule.
Okay,
As
I'm
I've
gonna
said, if I take steroids and then I piss clean, am I breaking the rule of no steroids?
okay about the stealing money. Another question: if you have a tournament and every single player gain their teams, do you consider that the winner steal money to anyone?
They all violated the rules, so they
But
shouldn't have
they are
had
not stealing
any.
money.
It's still a rules violation.
No, but
They did not
it's
compete
not.
fairly.
It's not about the rules now. I just said that one of the point is that if you play a tournament with cash prize and you have Pokemon that are manipulate, you are stealing the money. If every single player use Gen Pokemons, is I suppose that no one is stealing to others.
That you're still violating the rules of the tournament, so
But
you've
you are not.
not earned the
But you are
prize.
not stealing money.
But you have not earned the prize of the tournament because you broke the rules
No,
regardless.
because you pass the hack check. And the hack check is the way that Pokemon has to know if your Pokemon is legal or not. You are you are passing the only official tool that they have to determine if your Pokemon is legal or not. you are not breaking the rule, because it's breaking the rule, but not breaking the rule, because the tournament rules say that your Pokemon is legal. But you in your you know if your Pokemon is breeded or not breeded, but you are not breaking the rule of the tournament. So if everyone has Pokemon that pass the hack check, but all the Pokemon of one Pokemon, two Pokemon, I don't know, were gained, no one is having a no one is stealing money to other. All they play with the same rules. So Gen is giving players the same opportunities to play Pokemon.
You seem to have a hard time understanding that if you don't get caught, it doesn't mean you're not breaking the rules. Again, like, okay, I take steroids in a sports game. I piss clean. Am I cheating?
Can you repeat, please, this last sentence?
If I take steroids and I pass the urine test and it says I'm not taking steroids, am I cheating?
There is something I would like to ask you about what you consider breaking the rule, because okay, perfect, you use pick a hex and you okay, for you it's breaking the rules. Okay, if you use two Pokemons that are gained by pick a hex, and you breed a new Pokemon, and you use this new one that is completely legal, is cheat or not cheating?
I emailed the Pokemon company this specific question, and
Mhm.
they said that the offspring Pokemon is illegal. I have a video showing the exact like full conversation or like the customer service ID number and everything. Like it is direct correspondence from the Pokemon company through the Pokemon website support, and they said that Pokemon is illegal if it is the offspring of bred Pokemon. They
Oh,
don't want any modification of the Pokemon whatsoever.
but the Pokemon that you are using is not modified.
They don't want any modification in your games.
But okay, but is it not in your game? You have a friend, you want a Pokemon, for example, I don't know,
Well, not well again, like
a
in
Rillaboom.
any game, there should be no hacking
Okay, perfect. In any
Pokemon.
game, but this is impossible. But you want, for example, a Rillaboom, and you have two Rillaboons, and your friend has two Rillaboom, or a Rillaboon, or an Adito that are for you illegal, that has been created by Pikahex. Okay, and you ask your friend to breed you a new rookie, and he breed the rookie and send you by chains. There is nothing illegal in your game. The Pokemon you have is legal. You don't have any kind of illegal Pokemon in your game. You don't have any kind. You didn't use any kind of external tool. So are you cheating or not?
It said like here's what the Pokemon company has ruled through my support ticket. All Pokemon must be obtained through legitimate in-game means. Therefore, if a Pokemon is bred from illegitimate Pokemon, it is not considered legal, nor is a Pokemon that is otherwise impossible to obtain through normal methods.
But it's the method that you have the Pokemon are illicit, and you don't have any kind of illegal Pokemon in your game. So it's perfect for you. It's the same. It's the same. For example, it's the same.
But it
You
says like it says like now the Pokemon of an offspring is as illegitimate as a gen Pokemon. That is the official Pokemon Company statement. There's your question ID. There's like the statement from the Pokemon support ticket.
okay? There
Where
is
and it's just also just common sense. Like if
okay.
they don't want you to use cheated Pokemon, they don't want you to use cheated Pokemon in any capacity. Also, one second, my phone went off and it's on the other side of the room. You can go. You can talk. I have a headset.
Okay. Would like to is keep talking about that, but with
Yeah,
another
yeah, yeah.
example. You know what are the EAR and G reporter?
I'm sorry. Can you say that again?
Yeah. Don't worry. You know what is R in G reporter?
Oh, RNG. Okay. Oh
Reporter.
yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. You mean like the RNG method?
Yes.
Yes.
Is the way
Okay.
is the way we breed in for the generation 4 and generation 5. Okay.
Yeah.
Is an external device that you have in your computer, but you have to put the so many data. It's like a calculator. Okay, you put so many information in the calculator that you can have in your game. Okay, the Pokemon you want, you have to catch one Pokemon and you have to pay to put the day you catch it, the hour, the minute, the stats, the nature, the ability, a sentence
Yeah,
that
yeah,
come.
yeah.
Okay,
RNGing, yeah.
and there are only one data that you can't get for your own. That was the secret ID. Okay, if you for example, that was what I did, because I didn't have I didn't have the Pikachu, the Pokésap in this time, so I changed a Pokemon of mine to a friend. This friend put the Pokemon, opened the Pokemon in Pokésap, and he could see the secret ID. He
Yes,
gave
I
me
know
the
the
secret
method.
ID. I put in the calculator, and I have the time at the moment. I will have the Pokemon I wanted. Did you consider this cheating?
Yes, but there's a little, like, rabbit hole behind that as well because
But
I emailed the Pokemon Company back in Generation 5,
but
and I got the same thing saying, like, "RNG is not natural gameplay, therefore the
no, no, it
Pokemon are
is, it is. O
illegitimate."
sea, RNG is was a calculator I have in my computer, and all
Well,
the
like I
data.
said this gets deep. This has, like, its own, like, side tangent that's still within the rules, but
No,
let me fully explain, let me
no
fully
breaking
explain.
the rules. Change it the time of my Nintendo DS. Change it the time and say, okay, it's the year 2245, and it's the 29th of February. Okay, perfect. 29th of February.
Yeah,
Uh,
I know how it works, and like I said, I need to
okay, but
explain.
there is nothing. There is nothing illegal. The only way, the only thing is to ask another friend to tell me one number and to put this number in a calculator, and then having the time in which I gonna have the Pokemon. This can't be illegal. This can be not legitimate. I don't know how to say. Because I did ilegítimo.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying, but like I said, I need to fully explain the entire process around that.
So
So,
in
I emailed the Pokemon Company support in the same manner back in, like, Generation 5. I don't even remember how long ago this was. It was long before I did YouTube. I started YouTube in 2013, and I became PokeTuber in, like, when X and Y came out. But I think this might have been an email from, like, 2010, 2011.
and
So I don't have it anymore. But I contacted the Pokemon Company saying, "Hey, if I RNG, I've heard of this method. Am I allowed to do that to obtain Pokemon?" They gave me effectively the same email saying it's not natural gameplay. Wait, keeps going more. So then I went to tournaments and I talked to tournament organizers and judges say they do not allow RNG at VGC events. This was the Colorado Springs Regionals, and I think it was 2012 Colorado Springs VGC Regionals, an actual VGC event. I talked to the judges, and they say RNGing goes against the rules because the rules back then were slightly different than 4.3 as it is today, and it talked about natural gameplay. So the argument from, like, Pokemon Company support and the judges I spoke with, even though other people have other stories, someone said, like, "Oh, I went to regionals in 2011 and judges said RNG was okay." So there is a communications breakdown. But the interpretation of the rule is that having external hacking programs touch the Pokemon to get the secret ID, because, like, you still have to communicate with some form of hacking program to for that, then invalidates it. Also, having to reverse engineer the game to obtain the RNG program is also just unauthorized use of Pokemon intellectual property. Far beyond any making a video of Pokemon Showdown. Like, now you're tampering with the code of the game and reverse engineering its functions to get a secret ID that the trainer does not have access to under normal gameplay circumstances to then do an RNG method.
but there is nothing. Let's see. Okay, perfect. Secret ID, you can get that, but if you
That's
get
not natural gameplay, and the rules were about natural gameplay, which is why judges
okay,
ruled
natural is
RNG.
so change it the date of the game is not natural gameplay.
No, that's completely allowed. Changing the date is
Eh,
fine.
So
It's
so
secret IDs that are not natural.
but you don't do anything to you keep playing Pokemon naturally. You change a Pokemon, and this guy, this friend, having a beer, say you, your secret ID is tal 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 is 2 3 4 5 6. Uh, you have played naturally.
Hacking was involved to get that
No, but
number,
you
though.
don't. You didn't hack.
Hacking was still involved.
But you
I
didn't
if
hack. You didn't
But
hack.
as we talked about, like, if someone hacks me a Pokemon, trades it to me, and I go to Worlds, I get disqualified. Or hacks me 3 Pokemon, and I go to Worlds, I get disqualified. I didn't touch those hacks, but I didn't make it. I didn't do that. But it's still one of those things to where, like, it should be pretty obvious. No hacking of the game whatsoever is authorized by the Pokemon Company.
But you didn't hack your game. So
But
it's
no hacking whatsoever.
and there is
Again, if my friends hack a 6 IV Ditto and a
okay, but it's
Charmander,
your
breed
friend.
it. No, no, no,
You
no.
can be
Okay, but
punished. You can't be punished for what your friend did.
well, 4.3 says it, but
No,
not for
no, no,
secret
no,
ID
no.
specifically,
But
because that's
if
from generation 4 and
if you want
5
to talk
for a
about
different rule
this
set.
rule perfectly, the rules say the player,
Now,
not the friend of the player.
but now, like, we're just getting into the most nonsensical semantics of a format that existed 13 years ago with slightly different rules and understandings and interpretations of those rules.
What?
If a judge tells me I cannot RNG and the interpretation is not natural gameplay, that's the ruling.
But the
That
natural.
that is how.
But there is nothing that changed the natural gameplay of the player with RNG. But something that I like to hear is that Pokemon rule didn't change from 2011 to 2023. So the game has developed, the official circuit has developed, and we still have the same rule, and nothing changed. And you still think that the rule is fair? That we are using now a rule that has been created 15 years ago.
Yeah, I can't imagine anything more fair than no hacking in the game whatsoever. 'Cause
I
that
think
goes back to the 2016 thing when we talked about, like, you can't breed hacked parents. That's
I,
not explicitly stated in the rules, but it's pretty obvious the merit of the rule is no hacking,
if we
for anything.
if we talk about getting advantage for hacking, I still think that playing Soudon is still be considered hacking, because you are getting advantage of time for testing and playing, because a game on Soudon is 5 minutes, and a game on card are 15 minutes. So you are getting advantage of time of preparing the team. So
Correct.
everyone who
You
played
are getting an
Soudon has
advantage.
to be a cheater too.
No,
If you play Soudon, you are cheating, because you are getting a knowledge about the team, and knowledge that you will spend more time on card on the official game. So if you play Soudon, you are also a cheater.
now you're jumping to something else. So yes, playing Showdown gives you an advantage, but it breaks no rules to obtain that advantage.
No, yeah, yeah, yeah. You have an advantage.
You're not no, you're not
You
you're
get information and knowledge about your team faster than
correct.
playing on card.
Correct. But it
So
does
you are
not
cheater.
violate any rules. No, it does not violate any rules to play Pokemon
Yes,
Showdown.
because if you're saying, but because it's not the natural gameplay. So do you think that Pokemon think about, okay, natural gameplay is to open your Switch, playing South and playing Scarlet or Violet, and then go to Southern and training about Pokemon. This is not natural gameplay.
Wait, wait,
Playing
wait, wait,
Southern is
wait,
not
wait, wait.
natural
Which
gameplay.
feature?
Yeah?
Which feature of Pokemon Showdown automatically puts my team into my copy of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet? Because
Because
I'm not aware of that.
you are getting an advantage of time for playing Southern. Because
With
you are building and you are making the call of the EVs and all the things, and you are training with your team in Southern that spend less time than playing on car. So if you are getting an advantage. So if you are getting advantage of time, and also it's not a natural play, because what Pokemon understand, you are a cheater, man. It's what you
no,
say.
there's no. You are taking two different things because there's no rules being violated. There's no game. Like, I'm allowed to play other games. I'm allowed to play Minecraft, and that doesn't
No,
break
but
any
Minecraft
Pokemon
is
rules.
an official game. We are talking about Soudon. Soudon is an unofficial
Showdown is
program that use the Pokemon property. It's not part of the
yes,
natural gameplay.
it's a separate entity that does not interact with your game whatsoever. Using the RNG method, or like getting your secret ID, that is specifically interacting with your game for the Pokemon you are participating with. The
Well,
play Pokemon rules are about your Pokemon of participation.
you are
Use
interact.
what?
You are interact with your game. If you make a team at Southern, at the builder of Southern, and then you reflect this team, or you put
No,
you breed this team on your car, of course you are touching your game. You are okay, perfect.
nothing.
I did this. I did these 6 Pokemon on the Southern builder, and then I'm gonna breed it. Of course, you are taking the results of Southern to your Switch, so you are it's the same that ERG. It's the same.
There's not, because there's no gameplay from Showdown that touches Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. There's no interaction or crossing over right there.
Is the
That would be
interaction of
again, that would be like saying like, "Oh, it's
is the
cheating to go
interaction
onto
of knowledge?
Cerebi."
Is the interaction of
That's
knowledge? The
yes,
knowledge you
yes,
the knowledge you had from Southern is something that is interact with your Nintendo Switch and your game.
but it's not your Pokemon. It's not your
But it's
team.
your knowledge, and this knowledge is
Yes,
what you
knowledge
are
is an
gonna
advantage.
do. What you are gonna use to breed this Pokemon. If you didn't
It's
have
not against the rules
this
to acquire
knowledge, you are not
knowledge.
going to breed the Pokemon.
It's not against the rules to acquire knowledge. Because then, by the same thing, like Cerebi is breaking the rules because now I know the base stats of every Pokemon because I was on Cerebi for 10 hours. I know every Pokemon's moves through only Cerebi. You don't even need Pokemon Showdown to simulate a Pokemon battle. It's technically all like solved damage calculations and stuff. I can play Pokemon with a calculator and a Bulbapedia page. I can do the exact same thing Showdown does for the most part.
Hmm.
That's not cheating. That is not cheating to gain knowledge. Like that, I think again, as I think I said this earlier, the problem VGC players have is that there's legal advantages and there's illegal advantages. Any form of hacking, any form of game tampering or modification that is expressly an illegal advantage. But there's other legal advantages. If I have more time than you, let's say like I'm just wealthy. My mom gave me $3 million because I was in the trust fund. I now have that advantage. I don't have to work a day in my life. I can spend 20 hours a day playing Pokemon, getting better than you. That's not against the rules. Being a trust fund kid isn't against rules. Also, I'm not one in real life. Just an example.
But it's different because in that case, in the case of Southern, it's what I say. I tell you, it's an external device that's break Pokemon rules.
It's not a device interacting with the game,
Is
though.
is against the term of use of Pokemon. Another thing is that Pokemon close their eyes in front of Southern, but you are using something that is not correct for them, and you are getting knowledge, and you are using this knowledge to breed your team. It's the same thing with the damage calculator. Okay, the damage you can't
Also,
calc the
Cerebi, right?
damage.
If I go onto Cerebi,
You can't calc the damage in the game. It's a knowledge you have from the inside. So you are getting information faster than using the game. It's not. I say what you said, that is the natural gameplay of the game. Playing Southern and make the calc from your point of view has to be something that you can use, because it's not the natural gameplay. The natural gameplay will be to face 20 times to another Pokemon and then calc how much damage you did to it.
the natural gameplay is about how your team was obtained. And you violate natural gameplay by RNG method. You don't violate natural gameplay by going on to Cerebi and
As I
looking
told
at
you,
the damage calculation.
the natural gameplay is to get information for the official to the official resources. And the moment you
Okay, show
check
me the
you
rules. Show me rule 4.5 that says you're only allowed to acquire knowledge through
no,
Pokemon
no, it's not.
games
It's
unofficially.
what you said about the ERG. The Pokemon answered you that was illegal because you don't use the natural gameplay of the game. It's what you
Okay.
answer me. It's what you
Message
answer me.
no,
So
message the Pokemon company
okay,
and
perfect,
say, "Am I going
perfect.
to get
For
banned?" No, no, wait,
if
wait, wait. Message the Pokemon company and ask if I'm going to get banned because I use Bulbapedia to acquire knowledge, and it's unauthorized third-party website.
so the answer Pokemon say that also anything that was different from open the switch and to turn on the switch and play the game is not the natural gameplay. It's not. If you don't, it's the answer they did to you.
Because now we are outside of the game, and they're not gonna tell you you're not allowed to use Bulbapedia.
What can
I
you
would
repeat?
like to see that. I would like to see that. What you call it? Support ticket.
Tell me when you are ready.
Oh, what are you reading?
Eh?
I didn't hear what you said.
Okay, okay. Are you ready or not?
I'm ready for what?
Ah, no, no. For man, I didn't understand. I understood that you had to see something or I don't know.
I said email the support for Pokemon Company and ask them if I'm going to get disqualified for using Bulbapedia to acquire knowledge.
And don't understand the last part. You were disqualified for?
Using Bulbapedia. No, no,
Ah,
like ask. Ask if it's against the rules to use Bulbapedia because it's not natural gameplay.
and what was the answer?
No, no, I said you need to I guess that's communications breakdown.
Uh,
Like hypothetically, you need to send that and then get the
Not
response.
for
I
me.
never did that.
Not for me because I'm from my point of view, nothing
You're
that
the one
gives you
making
gives
the
you
argument though.
advantage, nothing that gives you advantage is gonna be a cheat. So searching Bulbapedia, searching Wikidex, making the damage calculator, using Pokemon Showdown or getting your Pokemon is something that is not going to have an influence of the final result of a tournament. So for me, it's perfect. It's about the answer that you are telling me that they answered, they gave you that all the things that were the opposite of the natural game plan were I don't know, that break the rules. Okay, so I say that in this answer, say that you only have to turn off the switch and play the game. And if you want to get information, ask Nintendo Acción. That is the official magazine that we have here. I don't know if the United
Yes,
States you have something similar like that. Is the only way. This is the natural gameplay for Pokemon. So
but your argument is that I'm cheating. So you're the one that needs to contact them and then get that as the ruling for
no,
cheating.
no, I know saying you are cheating. I don't say nothing like that. I say that look at so stupid is that you only have to use the natural gameplay, because if you use the natural gameplay, all the things you have to be really really clear what the thing you can do. That is switch the turn on the switch and play the game. It's the only thing you can do.
Yes, it says in that picture I sent in Discord with like the breeding Pokemon, it says all Pokemon must be obtained through legitimate in-game means. I don't know what like every
Of course,
little legitimate thing that
man.
the Pokemon
Of course they
but
are
what
gonna.
I do know
Of course
what
they
I
are
do
gonna.
know
Of course they are gonna answer you that. Of course.
exactly.
Of course.
But what I'm saying is
Will,
I
will be
don't
will
I,
be
I
really
don't know
funny. It
everything.
will be really funny if the own Pokemon say, no man, please use Pokehex. Ask a Fotix about using Pikahex. Of course, if you ask that, of course they are gonna answer you that.
Yeah, but
But
what I do know is the Pokemon Company deems breeding hacked Pokemon illegitimate. They deem RNG illegitimate through my communications with them. But it's what it says for their in-game team. Playing Pokemon Showdown does not create me an in-game team, so no rules are being violated.
But I don't see. I didn't. Okay, but I didn't see anything about the natural gameplay here. So in that case, Pokemon ERG is something legitimate.
No, because if you when contacted them, I was told it was legitimate. They say legitimate in-game means that has its own arbitrariness, but again, to get the secret value, you need to do illegitimate
Not you.
gameplay.
Not you.
It happens somewhere. Like I said, if my friends breed hacked Pokemon and then give me the offspring, that offspring is still cheated.
Yeah, but the
Even
mail
even
the
though
mail
those
you
hacked Pokemon are
the mail the mail that you show me talk about the player doing that, not a friend doing that. As I told you, you can't be punished
no
for
matter what.
you can be punished for your friend sign.
Yes, and you need a hacking tool to touch a
You know,
Pokemon to get that
you don't
ID.
need, your friend need.
Well, any person needs it. Therefore, it is now illegitimate gameplay for your friend, so anything involving that Pokemon is illegitimate.
No, no, no. It's not what I read in in yours said about firstly it's about breeded Pokemon, not about RNG. And then
And you can
talk
take the
about the
same rules
player,
into
not a friend of a player. If the player is and of course it's something that about the breed Pokemon as I understand about the email, if you get a Pokemon about 10 and this Pokemon is completely legal, and but and the other guy has breeding by illegal Pokemon, there is no problem.
That email says it's a problem.
No, the email says that if you do that, the player,
What?
but not another guy.
It's not the player, it's the Pokemon. The Pokemon becomes illegitimate no matter where it goes to, no matter who it touches.
But you,
Once any hacking is it should not be a difficult thing to understand. Pokemon Company does not deem any form of hacking or tampering with the game legitimate.
of course, no Pokemon,
Any
but
any Pokemon that is affected by that is now an illegitimate Pokemon, no matter whatever happens. No hacking, that's it. And I think we're not going to make it any further for this part because we're just going back and forth again for the last 40 minutes on this.
but it's the same. Pokemon has to say that because Pokemon can accept that other use the intellectual property, intellectual property to get to take not to take advantage, but to do another devices or another tools, another. Of course, Pokemon is a is a company that wants to get money. But then, as I told you, the way they have to verify if the Pokemon is legal or not, they can say whatever they want. Then they have the tool, and the tool is the one who determines if the Pokemon is legal or not legal, and needs a hack check. Because if they want and they have they have the chance. Why answer me, Berlis? Why if they really don't want or they are against gaining so much that they hate they don't want it? Why they didn't use the same hack check that Cafotics used to write the tweets?
Cafotics is like he created the hacking program, so he's going to
You
know
think that
more.
Pokemon didn't have people better than Cafotics in their not fight in their team? You think that Cafotics is so much better than people that were a Pokemon? Of course not.
Cafotics, yeah, actually, no, of course, he made the hacking program. He has the proprietary information of hacked Pokemon data and how the Pokemon are manipulated.
Cafotics make the hack tool based on a game created for other guys. These guys, if they want, they can create something better than Pika Hex, and they can determine if Pokemon is illegal or not easily than Cafotics. The
Are
reason
you familiar?
the reason they don't and there is an example. At the moment we played at Japan in which the pirate policy is harder than in Europe or the United States. They made a hack check that was harder than the one we use in the TPCI circuit. They can do it, but they don't
No.
want to do it. And the reason they don't want to do it is because they consider that the Pokemon, if you can use the Pokemon in an online, it's correct for them.
That's a completely unsupported claim
No,
because
no,
you
no.
can use
And
Pokemon without the home data online.
the same guy that wrote you, that answered you the email and say, no, if you use a Pokemon breeder for 2 illegal Pokemon is illegal. This same guy is not a Pokemon say, okay, guys, I don't care where the Pokemon come from. If the Pokemon pass the hack check, it's okay. The same guy. They gave you
Not the same guy.
political answer, and the political answer say, yeah, we are opposite of Jenny. Of course, if you have one Terasar that has obtained by Pika Haze, you are a cheater. Of course, this is the correct. This is political because it's that they are a company. They can answer something different from that. But the reality is that if you are in a competition, they say, okay, don't worry, your Pokemon your Pokemon pass the hack check. Has nothing that could be impossible to get. Yes, compete.
That's a completely unfounded conspiracy proven by the rules. We talked about Rule 4.4. Any Play Pokemon members that believes they've discovered a new method of illegal team manipulation should contact customer support. The Pokemon Company is not.
And why didn't they do it? Because
The Pokemon
they
Company
know.
is not. the Pokemon Company is not omnipotent just because they've developed the game. They don't know every single way to hack a Pokemon. They don't know every little thing that could tip off if a Pokemon is hacked, like the developer of the hack, Cafotix.
But they
And
can
in no, they're not omnipotent.
developing the hack check. They can develop the hack check. The same that Hackafotics do in their tweets, they can do, but
No,
they don't want to. They
their
don't want
development
to,
has incompetence behind it.
but they
The
don't
only
want. Pokemon
Are
don't
you
want.
familiar with the, data mine of Pokemon Sun and Moon?
No.
So, what happened was when, like, Kurt and, who was the other guy? Kazo and Cyrus, when, like, the big old hacking team of Pokemon, when they were data mining Pokemon Sun and Moon, they had the encryption wall. Encryption is going to be something that's protecting the games. Well, they ended up calling it meme crypto because they could reverse engineer the encryption through how it was encrypted. Or something like that. Like, that's not exact like, the complete technical breakdown. What it shows is an incompetence in development to make it so easy to jailbreak the game or like break the encryption that only took a couple of days. There's holes inside development. Everyone's talking about how Pokemon Scarlet and Violet is so glitchy and Game Freak is a
Mhm.
bad development team. They do not have perfection in understanding every issue with their game. And hacked Pokemon are the same. If let's say they made a perfect hack check today that caught every hacked Pokemon, in 5 days there'd be Cafotix would update Pika Hex and they'd make it even harder to detect. And there'd be a new wave of undetectable Pokemon. This is a hacker cat and mouse. This exists in every form of IT.
But is the same. For example, here in Spain, with the if you want to see, for example, football, it's harder because the government makes some measures trying to avoid people to pirate the football and saying illegally, but there are people trying to make it harder for the government to understand. But finally, the government knows how to stop it. It's the same. At the end, the one who has more resources and more tools to stop this is Pokemon, not Cafotis. Cafotis could do something harder for Pokemon to not understand, to determine if the Pokemon is illegal or not. But at the end, Pokemon has so many resources because it's a multinational company with billions of dollars in of funds. They have the
You
resources.
are
They have the resources, but they don't want. And the reason they don't want is because for them, it's better to have their players competing in the circuit and they get earning money. So if the same guys that answered you the mail and the same guy that wrote the handbook believe or not believe, but
support staff
are
is not the
are
same as
okay
the
that
developers.
if you pass the hack check, it's okay. Why? So the same guy that write the rules say that it's okay for them to play getting Pokemon if they pass the hack check. The same
It doesn't
guys.
say that anywhere. Again, here, if I okay, you actually didn't answer this question. If I take steroids and it's illegal to take steroids in the competition I'm participating in, but I piss clean, my urine does not have any traces of illegal substances, am I cheating by using steroids and not getting caught?
Terrorist. What steroid?
What?
Steroid. You say it's steroid.
Banned substance. I'm using a banned performance enhancing substance for soccer,
Ah,
and I don't get caught.
I think okay. Okay, they are okay. They are saying. Um, again. Well, what about if everyone is using the steroids? No.
What I'm saying is like, am I breaking the rules though?
Mhm.
If I don't get caught, am I breaking the rules by using this forbidden substance? That is explicitly against the rules.
And what about if the organization is okay about if you break the rule? Because
They don't
they
know.
use
They
it.
don't know I'm breaking the
No,
rules.
no. And what about if they are okay? If they say that okay, perfect. The rules say that, but we are to remove the rule. We are going to change the rule, or we are going to say that.
You need to answer the question honestly.
No,
Let's
no.
stop deflecting.
It's the
If
it's, it's the question.
let
It's the question.
This is sports.
The same if the same organization that say that it's forbidden to use steroids, then okay, perfect. It's okay. Use it, but use it that man, try not to be don't know how to say. Try not that we don't see that you are so big and you use the steroid. Okay,
They don't say
let
that.
that. It's what
Nope,
happened with
nope.
Pokemon. The
That's not,
same
that
the same
Pokemon doesn't say that. Pokemon says do not cheat, do not hack the game, not don't do
and
it poorly.
the same organization that say don't cheat say that if your Pokemon pass the hat check, it's legal.
It doesn't. It says nowhere
Yeah,
that if your
yeah.
Pokemon passes.
It is. I'm gonna read it again.
No, no. 4.3 says all modification is forbidden.
Okay,
That's why you need to answer my question
perfect,
first.
perfect.
You need to answer my
And the
question.
7
If
point
I
at the 7.3 and the 7.3 several team errors say any indication via official tools.
yes, and then
The
4.4
same.
says if we don't know of a hack, please tell us because
Okay,
they are
but
not
I
perfect.
told you the same organization that say the 4.3 that you said that is the hack check, the official tool to determine if a Pokemon is illegal or not illegal. The same organization.
And that's why I ask you the question. If I take steroids or forbidden substance and I do not get caught, am I breaking the rules?
You, depends because
They
if
don't
the
know. They
no
don't know. There's no
because
depends.
if the
There's
no
no
depends
depends.
it depends on the organization. What about
They don't know. I'm not telling them. I'm not telling the soccer organization I'm on steroids. They don't know. All they know is my urine says I'm fine. I have a super new crazy doping substance that they haven't been able to figure out yet.
and
They're
what
the
about
federation.
okay
They
and
have
what no
billions of dollars.
that's not the same because
That's the same.
Pokemon
That's the
know it
exact
because
same.
Pokemon know about the gaming. Pokemon
Yeah, they
knows
yes, all
and
sports
they are okay
organization know
with that
there's steroids and doping.
and they
Everyone's
are
taking
and,
not everyone, but like every form of sport does have illegal substance abuse. And they know about it, but they don't know who because we're all pissing clean.
also it's forbidden because the health of the participant it's not the same of course
It's
if a
still rule
Pokemon
violation.
if a Pokemon is full 31 EVs it's not it's something that you are not to have your health in a bad
That's a
state.
misnomer. There's forbidden substances that do not increase strength, that do not endanger your health. There's blood doping where they just take out the blood and transfuse it so you have more oxygen. That gives you a competitive advantage, but it doesn't make you stronger and it doesn't hurt your health.
But the,
That's what caught what's his face?
yeah
Lance Armstrong. Lance Armstrong got caught blood doping as well as using EPO and some other substances, but he wasn't doing anything that's severely harming his health by
and what about
transfusing blood to get more red blood cells in.
okay, and what about it? Everyone, because it was happening in Pokemon. What about it? Everyone can use it, and the organization was okay with that.
They're not okay with it because if you say
No,
I'm
of course,
cheating
of
at
course,
the event,
at the
you get
sport,
disqualified.
and a sport you are not okay because it depend about the person, the effects of this kind of drugs or this kind of steroids. Of course, they are not, but in this case, it's something that is not against your health because it's a video game. It's something that make the game more fair for players, and also the organization is okay if you pass the official tool that is the hack check. So it's not the same that you
It
say.
it is the same. If I take steroids and I go to like the soccer federation person and say, haha, you missed it, and I wiggle my little piss jar from and say, nope, there's steroids in here, I'm getting disqualified. I'm getting banned for life.
You can be disqualified for any suspect. You have you have to say that yes, this this guy has you have a drug test or something like that. You pee in a bottle and say okay, perfect. This guy has don't say, has steroids something like that. So in that case, you have a proof. The proof the Pokemon give to us is the hack check. So
That
if you at the same time that
Steroids don't magically
and a
go
sport and a
away if I don't test.
no, at the same time that the sport organization trying to develop drug test, trying not to be avoid for new drugs and something like that. Pokemon has the same resources to do that, but Pokemon don't want to do that. And the reason that Pokemon don't want to do that is because Pokemon is okay. And it's the difference between the sport and Pokemon. Pokemon is okay with the gaining, and sport is not okay with drugs
If
or,
they're okay
with
with
steroids.
ginning, then why were players disqualified at Worlds? Why did they make a new hack
Because
check?
they don't pass
Why
the
did
hack
they?
check. Because they don't pass the hack check.
But why would they increase? They upped their hack check. They
Because
found a new method,
because was
and
in
then
Japan.
they.
But as I told you, okay, perfect. You didn't pass the hack check. Okay, perfect. You are disqualified. The rules say if you don't pass the hack check, you're gonna be your Pokemon removed. Okay, perfect.
That
But
was something else though,
okay, perfect.
because
But
like
it's the same. So you can say cheater. You can say that
I can
the players that has passed the hack check are cheaters. You can say that, for
wrong.
example, Wolfey that won a tournament and passed the hack check, and because of Verlisify, because Cafotic's tweak is a cheater. It's the same with Edu last year. Edu passed the hack check. So Edu passed this check that you said about the steroid. But
What about the players getting disqualified mid-tournament?
Cafotics make an unofficial check. That is not the official check. And you say that Edu cheat. Edu didn't cheat because he passed the check.
Yeah, but as we saw, players passed the initial hack check. They would get multiple
In
wins,
that case,
and
you
then they
can't
were
remove Pokemon.
disqualified.
You can disqualify a player because you has a suspect that he is a cheater. In a sport, you have a kind of check, and the kind of check is that you pin a bottle and then you say, okay, you have a steroid, you have drugs, you are out. This is the check. In Pokemon, the check is the hack check. If you pass the
Okay,
hack
but what
check,
about the
you are
players that
okay.
got wins? Because players were like, I went 2-0, I went 4-0, and then they got disqualified. That means they disadvantaged players at that tournament. They got wins
In that
with the
tournament,
cheated
but in other
Pokemon.
tournament, not.
But that doesn't change it. Now it's just kind of showing like, okay, cool. They upgrade their hack check. They care. They care about cheating, which is why there was a stronger hack check, which is why we saw disqualifications mid-tournament. They've always cared, which is why Rule 4.3 exists. It's just their hack detection is faulty.
And
And
also,
that's
I say
because that
the
seems to be incompetence.
the 7.3 say that in the tournament, the
And now
way
we're
to
back in the
determine
circular loop
is
because
something.
I'm going to say
It's the
if I
same.
take
It's the same
steroids and
guy.
don't get, but if I'm cheating and I don't get caught, I'm still cheating. That's
Not
the whole point of
cheating.
cheating. The entire point of cheating is to not get caught.
Eh, eh,
Illegally manipulate
No,
Pokemon,
because
violate that rule.
no. It's not because it's because the rule of tournament said that is the hat check would determine if a player have illegal Pokemon or not. Just said about the rules. The rules about the tournament say that.
The rules of the tournament say if your
The rule
Pokemon
of
is
tournament
hacked,
say that you have to pass the hat check in
read
order to
read
have a
4.3.
legal
Read
team.
4.3 in Spanish for your audience.
But again, the 4.3, okay, the 7.3 about that say in a tournament. And what's more important? In a tournament in a tournament scenario. What is more important? What's the rule about the BGC or about the rule about the tournament?
4.3 is the tournament. It's in the same VGC tournament rule.
7.3. What you are saying is about the rule of BGC, the BGC, not the competition. The tournament, the
you're going to
tournament
the Play
handbook say
Pokemon
that
total rules. Yeah.
the check is the hack check. If you pass the hack check, you don't have any problem. And of course, you depends of how strong is the hack check.
Except it also says refer to the rules of your individual competition. These the penalty guidelines are for the tournament, yes, but you're still participating in Play Pokemon VGC. 4.3 is as relevant as any other rule.
Can you repeat that last one? I was reading the fucking
Okay.
rule. Sorry.
In the rules you're citing with like 7.1, that's also in tandem with the VGC rules. That there's tournament rules for everyone, and then there's your specific rules for your competition. That is the VGC specific rule 4.3. Illegally manipulated Pokemon.
And I told you again, the
That is no less relevant than yes, that is
about the rule that works during the tournament.
Yes, and that is a rule that works during tournament because that's the VGC tournament rulebook. If I'm a participant in VGC tournaments, those are the rules I need to follow as well.
So
They are the same caliber of rule. One does not circumvent the other. Illegally manipulate Pokemon. If you've created a Pokemon or hacked it, it is illegal. It is in the play Pokemon rules. You are using an unauthorized Pokemon.
and I told you again, the way that Pokemon
And
determine if
it's
your Pokemon is illegal or not is because of hatchet.
it's 4.3.
You can disqualify someone for what you for your suspects.
This isn't getting anywhere because
Yeah,
we just
I believe that.
just read 4.3 in Spanish to your audience.
Not in
So
Spanish.
that so they know the
I
rule.
have in English.
I thought like most of them were, or not most, but a fair amount was Spanish.
But I told you, read 7.3 the of tournament handbook, because they say that the way to determine is the hack check.
Yes, and that's because and yeah, okay, yes, I understand that that is the hack check rule. But much like things, like if I take steroids, I don't get caught. I'm still breaking the rules. If your hacked Pokemon don't get caught, you are breaking 4.3. You are breaking the VGC tournament rule.
Not you are probably you are breaking the spirit, but not the rule.
Video game rules
Because
formats
the way to determine if you're breaking the rule is the hack check.
play Pokemon video game rules. That is the name of this document.
But it what I told you. The way to determine that the 4.3 is correct or not is the 7.3, the hack check.
And if I take
Is the
steroids and
hack
piss
check.
clean, then I'm not
And
cheating.
you can remove or you can say that someone is a cheater only for your suspects.
No, they are objectively cheating by the definition of cheating.
The way to determine is because of hack check. So if you pass the hack check, both the 4.3 and the 7.3 are are correct. I don't know what to say. You are accomplish these two rules because there is no way to demonstrate that someone has manipulated Pokemon.
Yes, and there's no way to determine that someone has taken steroids if they piss clean. They're still cheating.
Yeah, but as I told you,
An illegal
sport
Pokemon, caught or not, is cheating.
the sport have check. So if you pass the check, it's okay too.
So you're saying that if I pass with forbidden substances, it's okay?
If you pass the check, there is no problem, of course.
Okay, I think we move on then.
If you pass the check, there is no problem because this is there is something called well, in Formula One, for example, is what they do. There is a rule, and then they try to get advantage playing with the rules. It is illegal. It is cheating. No. Then the FI1 say if the new car, the new elements of the car are correct or not. But they play with the rules. And the way to determine if the car is legal is because of the check. If they pass the check, that's correct.
That's a different set of rules, but I think again we're just going to keep going back and forth in the same way.
People
Is there another topic?
people is telling me here in the chat, but I think that it's something that we talked before about the morality of check or not. But I think that is something we told previously about
Yeah.
the time we get that you said that it's more important to not to break the rules, and I told about it is something that didn't give you advantage in a tournament. It's correct because the only thing that you have you that you take advantage is because of time. So guys, this is something we talked before.
Do you have another topic?
Probably no. Don't know about you, but I don't know if you have any topic more.
There were two things I wanted to ask.
Yeah.
What percentage, like, uh, uh, okay, I wanted to ask you two things. I hope you can answer honestly.
I
The
always answer
Okay.
honestly.
The first one's kind of a tough question for you to maybe answer, which is why I wanted to just say that. But What percentage of VGC players do you believe used Gen Pokemon at Worlds? Like even one Gen Pokemon. How many at Worlds do you think used it?
at day two,
Day
is
one, like the entirety of Worlds.
probably 95%.
95%? Thank you for the very honest answer. That's about my estimate. I'm like, whenever someone says how many people do you think are cheating, it's like almost all, at least 95%. So you're saying like, how many
Not
players were at
cheating.
Worlds?
For your point
Yeah,
of
you
view,
can
cheating
say that not cheating. That's
for,
why I asked Jenning.
for your point
How
of view,
many?
cheating. For the point of view
Yeah,
of
yeah,
the
exactly.
competitive player, not cheating.
That's why I asked like, how many do you believe had a gen Pokemon? 95%. Okay. Um, and then you say that Kurt does this because he doesn't like bad hacks.
I think that cards do that because he doesn't like saying people using his tool in a bad way.
That is completely false.
Really?
Do you know why?
Tell me.
There is the like Project Pokemon. That's what Pika Hex is under. There's terms of use for Project Pokemon, and in the terms of use, they explicitly state they do not want you using it for online tournaments, and they especially don't want you using it for official like VGC tournaments.
So
There,
in that case, why cards create the Pokéhex?
it's in the terms of use. It's for private collections, battling locally with friends, and
So
here's
okay,
their
if
allowances.
okay, if what you are saying that is more correct to destroy the magic of the game, that is to cut them all, and that is something that affect the way you play the game, but it's not correct to use for something that they didn't get you any kind of
I'm not saying.
advantage.
I'm not saying it's correct. I'm quoting Kurt's
Okay,
rules
it's
because
good point of
you're.
view. I think that is completely
Well,
incorrect.
I'm just showing you that you have misrepresented Kurt with your belief. Like maybe just because you don't know, but it's allowed. Like through Pika Hex, they say you can use private collections, game use, local friends, and only if everyone is aware that Pokemon are hacked. They do not allow online battles, random GTS trades, random battles, and they especially do not tournaments. So that's why it violates the rules of Pika Hex to use a gen Pokemon, which is why he shows hacked Pokemon.
But at the moment he created the Pikachex, probably no 100% sure that he knew that player are gonna we're gonna use for competition.
There's still terms though. Like Pokemon, they don't want any kind of unauthorized means
Is
for the usage of their game, but they still put out the rules, knowing that people are going to break the rules. Same for every competition.
this is like the guy the scientific that create the atomic bomb that say, oh, I hope that the United States didn't use to attack another country. No, of course you use the more powerful bomb in the world for what? It's the same. You create pick a hex and say, oh, I hope that competitive players don't use it. I don't believe it. If he really think that,
It
probably
it's
Cure
it's in the
is
rules.
less smart than I thought.
It's exactly why he's doing these hack checks because it violates the terms of service for or terms of use for Project Pokemon. There's the link. You can review it if you want, but I think you can believe me at this point.
In my opinion, this is so hypocritical.
I just want to say, like, your thoughts of Kurt are wrong. I just wanted to bring that up on this. That was the last thing. It was just the question on Kurt and VGC players cheating. Like the amount, not cheating, but the amount they have agented Pokemon at Worlds. That was all I had to say.
Don't know if you have any any kind of question more. I think that
Yeah,
the
like I said, those were the only two.
I think that the debate has turned around the rule 4.3 also. Well, at least it's a good way to face two different point of view. I will try to. I have tried to do my best with the English. It's so hard, but people say that it's gonna be something weird, something that we are gonna to screen, something that we are gonna to. There are two different point of view, and I like it to have the talk with you and to demonstrate people that this debate could be something nice, something adult.
Yeah, for the most part, there were a couple of like points where after the fifth time we said the same thing to each other, it got a little not as formal as it could have been, but that's just kind of the format. It'll happen even like with political debates that people start talking over each other. But overall, yeah, we got our points across. That's always been my argument as well. It comes down to your interpretation of 4.3. If you disagree with it, then you're pro Jennings. If you agree with it, then you're like against Jennings, and that's all the argument revolves around, really.
As I told you, I think that the 7.3 is
Exactly. That's why I mean, was it that we're
disability.
back in it, yeah.
Yeah,
But see, that's where the Jennings argument comes from.
I hope, and I really, really hope that Pokemon give the players the tools not to use Pika Hex again. And in the, also Cafotis will lose all the fame about that because we have a new builder. I also want it because, as I told you, this is something that about the gaining or gaining. People have said so many things for so many years. As a competitive player, I can tell you that it's something that we don't like that to spend time trying to develop our skills and then saying people throw our effort to the garbage because it's not there. And as I told you, probably if we can live thanks to Pokemon and have a salary and that, okay, perfect. We could breed and doing all perfect like you want. But the problem, man, is we don't we can't take off our responsibility and we also want to play Pokemon. As I told some kind of thing, if it weren't because of Pikachex or to gaining or so asking people to give me the Pokemon the mons, probably I will have to stop playing Pokemon so many years ago because I don't have time. It's not because I don't want, because I like to breed and I love to compete. I love to travel abroad and I love to see people that I like. And this experience is something I have in my head and I'm gonna enjoy for all my life. And the only way for something like me, 31 years old, is not to spend time breeding because if I breed, probably I not I wouldn't be here talking with you, and
Mhm.
probably I will in my bedroom now because I have to wake up in in less than 7 hours. But I want to experience all these kind of things. So if I
Yeah.
have to this and probably well, not probably it's the same with so many players. If we have to decide to be cheaters in front of your eyes on other people's and or take this kind of experience and enjoy with the game we love we to take off this kind of this situation, probably we prefer to be called cheaters.
Yeah, and as I've said throughout this discussion as well as before, which is what makes me so notorious, I just have a very hard stance against what I consider cheating, breaking the rules to gain an advantage, and I will resume to be hard on that until something happens with Pokemon. I do want a simulator because it makes my life as a competitive player a lot easier, but I don't think the Pokemon competitive community has deserved or earned a simulator through the amount of cheating that happens at the tournaments. I also hope that we get some kind of announcement following for the next season because the cheating problem was so bad and there were so many disqualifications at Worlds that we hear about bans and punishments for players that have been disqualified at Worlds and potentially other players that get found out after Worlds and stuff like that. So I want to see the cheating getting taken more seriously by Pokemon Company with more strict punishment, and then hopefully that creates a possible future. Because yeah, I want Pokemon to be an esport. I want it to be worth it to where if I go out to an event, I'm making money. In its current state, I make more money on YouTube than if I go out to an event and get first place after travel expenses. So I don't have any reason to compete, and I'm a legitimate player, so I don't want to go against cheaters anyways. So we both want the same thing, and that's like another weird thing about this argument. Players want Jennings to make Pokemon more accessible. I am against Jennings because I feel breaking the rules makes the game less accessible, and that's a bastardization of what should be a legitimate competitive scene, no different than chess, Call of Duty, or any kind of athletic sport.
I think that we both will agree that this will fix if Pokemon put a wielder in. I think
Yeah.
it's the common point that you hate the theater as you said, and we want to have more fast, an easy way to make our team and to and not to waste our time. So probably the common point of that is Pokemon making a wielder inside the game, and in this case, all we will be happy.
Yeah, I'll only be happy though if we see bans though. Like you can't use the simul like this is my take. I'm not trying to speak for anyone else here, but like what I want to see if we do get a simulator is like a 3-year ban, like the first format for VGC for players that have been confirmed cheating in the past through some kind of means. Then I'll be happy. Like after that, after those 3 years, then everyone's on an even playing field. So I feel that the ginning has generated multiple years of advantage even with an official simulator.
Okay, I have another last question. I
Okay.
and probably the last one, and it's gonna be really short. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. If you do you think that if all these cheaters that you said change and start breeding their Pokemon because of the hat check make become harder, do you think that the same people that have won tournament in the past still keep winning the next tournaments?
I think that's a
Do you, do,
like I
do, do you
said,
think do you think that, for example, Wolfey is gonna do the same results if he has to breed his team?
that's what I alluded to with my last statement is that there's been an advantage that's been generated that will persist through any form of like making Gen Pokemon illegal. Because like if we let's say we take 2016 Wolfey, my opinion is that 2016 Wolfey without that Raichu, without that hack team, he doesn't win. He doesn't have any placements because he doesn't have the Pokemon to accomplish that. Therefore, he doesn't snowball his world championship fame. So without cheating in the past, Wolfey would not be where he is today.
Or
There,
I
he would he what?
completely disagree, man. I think
You,
that
you disagree?
just yeah,
You
I think
you
that
disagree that Wolf has the same amount of resources if he isn't a world champion, and then uses that.
I think that if Wolfie has to breed and everyone has to breed in 2016, Wolfie
No,
has been world
okay,
champ.
that's a different thing, kind of. So what I'm saying is like because he cheated in 2016, he has advantages today.
Can you repeat, please?
Because he cheated in 2016, he has advantages persisting today. He
No,
has his
of course,
million sub YouTube channel.
of,
He has his world championship
no,
title.
no, of course not. And I have answer of that. 2012 he was runner up, and we can't cheat, as you said, in that year. So we have to breed our Pokemon, and he was runner up. So I don't think that he has achievement with breeding Pokemon and also with
He
getting
didn't
Pokemon.
breed his Pokemon in 2012 for sure.
Yes, of course, we don't have any other chance because I
Well,
participated in that worlds. All we have breeded Pokemons. All we have breeded Pokemon in 2012. I was
no,
there. I was there, and we talk about that. No
there's
one.
chat logs with Ray Rizzo saying
There were
Pokedex.
only one player with Gen Pokemon that was a friend player with a Whimsicott, and he has his Whimsicott removed. That was not really funny, but he started running asking for a Whimsicott for another for a friend and something like that. Was the one all the
Okay,
player in
you're saying
2012
Pokemon World Finals 2012?
was Pokemon was breeded Pokemon.
Uh, tell me how Ray Rizzo got a shiny Cresselia and a shiny Heatran,
At the same man, at the same way, I have a shiny Latias,
a
shiny Latios.
a hidden power Landorus with what could assume be best stats or like very high IVs. Wait, not Landorus, Thunderous.
And at the same way, I have a shiny Latios, and at the same way, you can find it in at what the name. You can find at YouTube. I have a match with in a tournament in Barcelona against a guy, and he stopped with generation 6 only 5 days 5 days was, yeah, one week before the tournament, the game was released, and
Nah.
he has a Zapdos with hidden power eyes, and I said, man,
Wait,
it's the
my
same,
bad, I had
yes.
it backwards. Wolf Glick is the one that had Shiny Terrakion, Shiny Thundurus, Shiny Heatran, Shiny Cresselia.
And the same way I have,
Absolutely not. Absolutely did not get that legitimately in Generation 5.
man, and at the same,
The odds of
is
that he
was at the same way I had, and was
then
breeding.
why can't he even get a Moltres like the Galarian Moltres that Kurt showed to be hacked? Why can't he get a Groudon today when it would take 1,000 times longer to get a full shiny team of legendaries in Generation 5?
We are talking about, yes, Generation 5, yes, of course. But I told you, at the same way I had. It's the same. It's the same.
Absolutely not. You cannot convince me that
Okay,
the
I
best
can.
player in the
But
world
I was
at the
there.
time.
I was there. It was impossible. Of course, you can use the RNG reporter, but as I told you, RNG reporting wasn't something illegal in that moment. And now, of course, now, so all the Pokemon was breeded. Because the only resort, the only tool was the Pokésaf, and the Pokésaf was something weighs so many times
Pokégen
worse than
existed.
Pika
Well,
Hesky.
Pokéstap's
Pokésaf,
Pokésap, Pokégen, same thing, right?
if you use the Pokésaf, your Pokemon will be illegal for Pokemon. But that's true. Was impossible to participate with Pokésaf Pokemon in official tournaments.
There's chat logs from Ray Rizzo saying he misses Pokecheck, and that's from pre 2013.
Yeah, but later, not in. I think that was a new develop tool in that year. But Pokésap
No,
was
it's
impossible
that
to
seemed to
use.
be Pokecheck seemed to be Generation 5.
Yes, but not at the beginning.
I think we have to disagree there just on
Yeah,
personal beliefs.
I believe that not
The
because of
shiny Heatran with hidden, or not shiny Heatran,
I
the shiny
believe
Thundurus with hidden power does not pass the eye test.
I believe not because I used the RNG reporter for 2012 wars. So I suppose that I not 100 but close to 100 sure that the Pikachu we don't have the tool. But as I told you,
Okay,
I think that if everyone read for the tournament in 2016, Wolfey will be the world champion because the skill is the same. And if
skill's the
you
same, but
and
he's
now
not
if
gonna have
you
the same
force
Pokemon.
and now if you force all the players to breed, the results gonna be the same. If you force people to breed, the best American players will still win in America. The best Spanish
Except there
player will
were
still win in Spain. The Italian the same. The
except
results
there
were
were
gonna be the
legitimate
same
players. There
because
were
it's not
legal
about
players
what.
trying to compete. Like people were breeding, trying to compete in VGC 2016, but they were losing because of the hacked teams like Wolf brought.
But look at me, mate. Look at me. I breed for this tournament and I make a top 32. That is, of
I
course,
have a
it's not
hard
the
time.
run. Of
Like
course,
I said,
it's not the run up, but it's still make it a top 32.
I said a hard time believing you after you cheated last year.
I didn't get any disadvantage for breeding. Any. I didn't waste my time farming Terrasards, and I say, oh man, I hope I will play Soudon instead of that. No, of course not.
Question: did getting second place at Worlds give you an automatic day 2 this year?
What?
Getting second place at last year's Worlds, does that give you a day 2 invite for this year?
Yes. No, day two,
Uh,
no, day two, no, day two, no, day
yeah,
one,
day 1. Okay,
and
that's
I get the points.
see, that's where I still argue like cheating giving you some form of advantage from the previous cheating.
No one, mate, no one. I get the points, so there is no advantage to other players. I
Well,
get 550 points, so
the
I have
advantage
the
is automatically getting into Worlds, like not having to compete, not having to
yeah,
legitimately train teams for the.
but I compete, so I didn't have any kind of advantage. I was to day one. I get the point for day one. I decided to compete.
And that's just another disagreement we're gonna have. but I've stated how I feel about that. That I think that the advantages the cheating gives or the ginning gives is enough to remove the player's skill because legitimate players are trying to compete and they're the ones being disadvantaged as well. There could be someone theoretically as equally skilled as Wolf or a top player, but they spent all their time breeding instead. So they don't get the time to practice or reach their potential.
I think that nowadays it's something that, well, nowadays and the past, no, there is no advantage, man. There is there is not, because it's the same. The advantage is the same that playing Southern instead of card. Is there is no advantage. Uh,
Definitely in the past, because it would take 25,000 resets to get the Kyogre. I forget how many resets for the Rayquaza, and 25,000,000 resets for that Raichu. And that Raichu was like his ace Pokemon for that tournament.
in my case, I breed my Pokemon for World 2012 Worlds at the flight, 24 hours
I'm
of
talking about
flight.
2016. 2016 Raichu.
Yeah, but I'd say uh, in that case I didn't have any disadvantage. But as I told you, probably if everyone did the same at Worlds and everyone breed, the result was the same, because everyone has spent the 5 days to breed the team, and they didn't uh, take time use the time to develop their skill or develop the team. So everyone goes to the with the same conditions. So Wolfie will probably win again.
Are we
But
talking about
the
2012?
difference was that they had lost 5 days of their lives.
But then what about the player that was told RNG is against the rules, so they spent a way longer. They spent a month to get Pokemon that can't even have perfect IVs. Like you just kind of go, ah, I got a 28. I gotta take that because I don't have any time back in Generation 5.
As I told you, Pika Hex or RNG reported in the past is something that
But like
everyone
I've said,
can.
like
Is something that everyone can use. If you don't want to use, it's your
but the
choice.
if the
It's
if
your
the tournament
choice.
organizer tells you you can't use it, that's what I did. I asked, hey, can I RNG? They said no. I emailed the Pokemon company, can I RNG? They said no.
But
That
as I told you, the tournament rules say that if you pass the hack check, it's okay. And this
and
no,
that's
this is coming again to the point.
yeah. I think breaking the rules is cheating, even if you don't get caught. And I think that's my final statement.
I
Wrap it up.
I think that the rule, and what I say, I think that the rule have to change for the good sake of the players. And if there is some rule that is unfair, there is no cheat. It's our legitimate. I don't know how to say this word. I was trying to say it
Yeah.
during all the debate. My fucking legitimate, our legitimate right to fight against what we consider unfair for the player, and spend time in something that is not going to give you advantage is a correct fight. And I say, I'm not saying to remove the rule. I'm saying to put to develop a builder inside the game. But the only way we can do that is to be in the tournament, to be many voices, to give all the players the same advantage and the same status to compete. Is the only way to develop this game, to develop the official circuit.
Okay.
And the,
I I just have like all of my statements, like pretty much everything I've said about my thoughts on the rules and ginning and stuff over the years, just kind of condensed in this stream. So
I don't think. I think for me, I think that the debate is close.
hmm
So thank you so much, Berlis, to come. And as I told you, I think that it was a good content. I think we both have enjoyed. I like that the people that say that it's gonna be a child talk, a child argument. I don't know if they are agree with you, with me. If they like the debate, but at least this has been we want an
yeah,
adult talk about a talk about two guys two adults, and I think I enjoyed the debate.
And you're gonna send me the VOD, and it's gonna be on my channel if you want to rewatch it.
Okay, perfect. I'm gonna try now. If you don't have any problem, to send you tomorrow when I came back to from work, because as I told you,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have to wake up in 6 hours.
It's whenever. I don't have like a strict upload timeline for it. Also, the Mewtwo Terror Raid starts tomorrow, so I'm gonna be busy with that instead of uploading this.
Perfect. Well, that's all. See you, Berlis, and thank you.
All right. Goodbye.
Bye.